Purdue Boilermakers, it's been a week of introspection, of reflection, of self-evaluation, and straight-up soul-searching. Right now, they are trying to extinguish the question marks and the fires brought on by a 2-game losing streak. And they're trying to snap out of those doldrums, led by Joe Tiller today, the head coach, as they take on Michigan, number 9 in the country. Kickoff coming up next.
ESPN's presentation of college football brought to you by Yamaha, makers of the Grizzly 660, the ultimate ATV. Where you go now is up to you.
The autumnal hues cascading across the landscape here in West Lafayette, Indiana. An absolutely gorgeous day for college football. Number 9 Michigan against Purdue. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie. Welcome to West Lafayette, the 50th meeting between these two teams. And Bob Davie, at the start of the season, there were question marks about the quarterbacking position at Michigan. Question marks even within the program about John Navarre, but he has answered some of those critics very well lately.
Mark, John Navarre has been hot the last 3 weeks. He has thrown 7 touchdown passes without an interception. And everyone in the Big Ten knows when John Navarre gets hot, you better look out because he has great, talented wide receivers. Braylon Edwards, number 80, he's big, he's fast, he has 33 catches. Ronald Bellamy, number 19, he's talented, 10 catches in the last 2 weeks.
Now the winds of change and controversy blowing through Purdue this week. Kyle Lorton has seen his number 1 quarterbacking job put up for grabs. He's being pushed by this guy, Brandon Kirsch.
Brandon Kirsch is completing 61% of his passes, but Mark, he can kill you with his legs running the football. He's come off the bench the last 2 weeks, sparked this football team. I think Joe Tiller's going to start him today to spark this football team at home.
He has done exactly that in successive weeks as Purdue elects to receive the opening kick. Back deep, it's Anthony Chambers. A strong wind blowing down on the field as this one goes 7 yards deep. Chambers thought about it, and the Boilermakers will start off on their own 20-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, there was a healthy quarterback competition in practice this week for Purdue, but the freshman, the true freshman, Brandon Kirsch, will get the start today. They like what he can do with his feet, getting them out of dangerous situations. They say you can't argue with the guy's productivity on the field. Last week against Illinois, he came in with the score 24-0. His team went up 31-24. They like what this youngster can do. We'll see how he performs under his first college start.
Yeah, Holly, even head coach Joe Tiller surprised very much by the boys, the true freshman. First down and 10. Joey Harris trying the right side of the line of scrimmage over Murkowski, Turner, and Butler. Brought down by Charles Drake. Let's take a look now at the Best Buy backs and receivers. Joey Harris carrying the ball. Reinhardt, Standiford, Williams, and Stubblefield.
Taylor Stubblefield back from an early season injury, Mark. 28 catches in the last 3 games.
Second down for the Boilermakers. Gain of about 2 on first down. They come out in an empty formation. 5 receivers on this play. Little bubble screen, and it's incomplete. Intended for Anthony Chambers. Let's take a look at that Purdue offensive line. They have 3 seniors up front. Lockheed, Hardwick, Murkowski, Turner, and Butler. Going against this defensive front, Larry Stevens getting the start at defensive end. Lazarus, Bowman, and Romashek.
Larry Stevens gets the start, Mark, but Shante Orr back from an injury in the Utah game, probably will play today.
Third down and long for the Boilermakers. Here's the true freshman out of the shotgun. Incomplete, intended for Joey Harris. Take a look at the linebackers for the Michigan Wolverines. Hobson, the leader there, along with Kaufman and Diggs. And in the secondary, LeSueur and Jackson on the corners, Drake and June, the safeties.
A talented secondary with a lot of depth. They'll play a lot of 6 defensive backs today, matching up against Purdue's spread offense.
Slayton sets up to punt on his own 7-yard line. Wind, a bit of a concern for all the kickers today. A low line drive spiral, and it's fumbled. Drake recovers it, And he is brought down at the Michigan 39-yard line, and that's where John Navarre will start for the Michigan offense. Navarre, just a junior. We talked about him a little bit in the open. He has certainly grown up a lot in the last couple of weeks, especially last week against Penn State. Let's take a look at the Best Buy backs and receivers. Chris Perry had a strong game a week ago. He's joined by Askew, a pro prospect. Bellamy has come on in the last couple of weeks, along with Edwards and Benny Jocru, a good receiving tight end. Nose of the ball at the 40, first down and 10. Edwards in motion, they hand it off to Perry. Nice size hole over the left side of the line of scrimmage. Take a look at that Michigan offensive line. Up front, it's Morgan, Boss, Pearson, Petrello, and Pape. Pape, one of the leaders up front, going against this defensive front for Purdue. Sean Phillips, a big playmaker, the one guy up front that has the ability to change the tenor of the game. He's joined by Terrell, Grover, and Nesfield.
An attacking front, Mark, that really comes off the football.
Second down and short, B.J. Askew. Askew brought down right near the midfield stripe at the first down marker. The Purdue linebackers, Bob, run pretty well. The strength of their team, Mark. And opposite of Michigan, they will not play a lot of substitution defense or nickel because they want to keep those linebackers on the field. Great set of safeties for Purdue, Turner and Schweiger. Rogers and Reeves on the corner. Third down and short. Flags down. Askew went in motion on the play. They tried to get it to Perry.
Snap, start offense. 5-yard penalty. Still down.
Lloyd Carr has defeated every team in the Big Ten on the road except for Purdue. Has never won here at Purdue.
Brought that point up early. Coming right off that third down penalty that puts them in a difficult 3rd and 6 rather than a short 3rd and 1.
Chris Perry is the lone back. Big three-step drop, and it's incomplete, intended for Tyrese Butler. Bit of a homecoming game for him from nearby Indianapolis. And it's 4th down. They'll punt.
Mark, go back once again. We mentioned the penalty, the procedure penalty on Michigan. The dynamics change considerably from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6. Purdue takes advantage of it and gets off the field right here on 4th down.
That's Anthony Chambers, number 4, standing at his own 10-yard line. Adam Finley, who Lloyd Carr calls one of Michigan's best punters ever. Chambers at the 8. Still on his feet. And a nice return all the way out to the 26-yard line. A 18-yard return after a 48-yard punt. And the true freshman will come out once again to direct the offense for Purdue, Brandon Kirsch. We'll be right back right after this. Along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe, a look at the series history between Michigan and Purdue. This game very pivotal for the Boilermakers, especially at 1 and 2 in conference play. They cannot afford to drop 3 conference games. First down and 10. Kirsch hands it off to Joey Harris. Harris brought down at the 30-yard line by Kaufman. Let's go back to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, we've got the monitors of plenty fired up on this Saturday in which some teams are trying to follow up. Other teams are a bit desperate. Action already underway in the Big Ten, Northwestern and Penn State going on over on ESPN2. Iowa trying to follow up its big win last week. Charles Rogers just caught a big, long pass. He's down inside the 1. Michigan State about to score.
All right, Reese, back here, 2nd down and 7. Harris again out to the 32, tackled by Victor Hobson, the team's leading tackler on defense for Michigan. Bob, a little bit of a different situation for Purdue this week with the starting quarterback Kirsch in place of Orton. What goes into that kind of decision making?
I think this graphic you see on the screen, Mark, explains it the best. They were a little bit spoiled with Drew Brees. He would give them 50 to 60 yards a game rushing. Look at the comparison between Brandon Kirsch, who you see there on the screen, and Kyle Orton, 7.4 to 1.2. That's the reason he's in a quarterback, particularly on these third downs. He has the ability to take off and run.
Which is what he looks to do here, but he's sacked back at the 31-yard line by Zach Kaufman. And once again, it's 3 and out for the Purdue offense. That's the 24th sack of the season for the Big Blue defense.
Michigan, very, very multiple, a twisting, attacking defense, particularly in their substitution defense. And you see the linebacker, Zach Kaufman, coming on the plug stunt and sacking the mobile quarterback, Brandon Keir.
Second consecutive year, Michigan's defense stacking up those sacks. Curry back for the punt. And this will take a Wolverine bounce out to the 44-yard line, but there's a flag down at the 20-yard line, a 26-yard punt only. Roughed up the punter on the play. Flags back at the 25-yard line, right in the area of where he punted it. The officials figuring this one out, and
We have a running into the kicker against defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
to play this one over again, and of course the officials have come under fire of late here in the conference.
Mark, here we get a look at the running into the kicker, not roughing the kicker. You see Jason Avant, the true freshman, actually a wide receiver playing on the punt return team. Good call right there by the referee. 5-yard penalty, not a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, they're going to move the ball up to the 35 and punt it from there. Brent Slayton, averaging 39.1 on the season, has a long of 64. The wind has seemingly died down a little bit, but I was speaking with the Purdue punters and kickers before the game. They say this is a tricky place to kick the football. This one an end-over-end job. Takes a Michigan bounce out to the 49. And later tonight, we start in the SEC at 6:45 Eastern on ESPN. It's Auburn against Rex Grossman and the Gators down at number 24 now. Then at 10 o'clock, number 7 for Notre Dame against number 15 Air Force. Tyrone Willingham's team still unbeaten. And Falcon quarterback Chance Harridge is really a treat to watch run that option. 2 undefeated teams meet when number 7 Notre Dame takes on number 15 Air Force. Look at the stats by Harridge.
Air Force will always come up with a good quarterback under Fisher DeBerry. A big part of it is the scheme, more so than the talent of the quarterback.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Michigan's fires to high, and Reese, third Saturday in October, things really beginning to heat up.
They are indeed. If you see the Michigan quarterback fire for equal opportunity, we must show the Michigan State quarterback firing. Jeff Smoker against Minnesota, and you know who he's looking for. Charles Rogers down inside the 1, set up a touchdown. Spartans up 7-0.
Spartan players didn't speak with media that much this week. I know Smoker took a while before he decided to open up. Right now their game doing a little bit of talking with the lead. Zeros on the scoreboard here. This is the Wolverines' second offensive series. Navarre completes the pass at the 43 to Ronald Bellamy out of New Orleans. A 6', 202-pound senior tackled immediately by Jacques Reeves, who had a good beat on the ball, Bob.
Jacques Reeves right here, Mark. You're going to see playing 3 deep coverage and just biting quickly on the little out route. Great break on the ball by Jacques Reeves. The thing I would look for, not right here, but is a hitch and go, because he was very aggressive on that short out route.
Bellamy in the last couple of weeks is coming off a couple of successive career highs receiving. And he has recently supplanted Butler as a starter. Third down for the Wolverines. Complete for the first down at the 38-yard line. Benny Jopru brought down by Schweigert on the play, but Jopru is a player who right now has a lot of the pro scouts very excited. A 19-yard pickup on the play.
The NFL scouts say that Benny Jopru may be the #1 tight end in the country. You are not going to cover him with a linebacker. And right here you see Joe Odom, number 51, who's a talented player as well. Difficult with a linebacker mark one-on-one on a tight end like Benny Joffrey.
1st and 10, backs out of the offset eye, and it's Navarre going up top. Has a man. Incomplete. Edwards couldn't catch up to it. He had gotten in behind Jacques Reeves.
Braylon Edwards next in the long line of talented wide receivers at Michigan. 6'3", great speed. Michigan has always been a team on running downs that will launch it down the field. And there you saw Braylon Edwards in behind Jacques Reeves. John Navarre slightly overthrowing it with the wind.
Single back set. Down to the 33-yard line is B.J. Askew. Let's go back to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, and you know the struggles just keep piling up for Syracuse against West Virginia. Rasheed Marshall, boot, and he gets it to the corner inside the pylon to put the Mountaineers on top by a touchdown, and Temple on top of UConn. Opening kickoff was returned for a touchdown. It's 7-3 there.
3rd down and 5 from the 33-yard line. Michigan moments ago with its first down of the ball game. Bellamy split to the bottom of your screen. Edwards in motion. Navarre incomplete. No flags on the play intended for Bellamy. Bellamy quickly becoming another one of Navarre's favorite targets. And they are in an interesting part of the field right now. Michigan has undergone a lot of problems in its field goal kicking game. On the season, just 4 of 12 combined.
I think it really helps the field goal kicker right here, Mark, that the wind is at his back. I think that's a great confidence booster. You stood on those tees on the golf course, and you feel a lot better when that wind's at your back when you have that driver in your hand and when you're driving into the wind, right?
Feels much better that way. Not sure if Krabs is going to feel any better about it, but we'll see. 3 of 9 on the season, and they will pooch it, but it goes into the end zone.
So much for all that confidence with that wind at your back, Mark.
Krabs, who kicked the game winner against Washington earlier this season, could not get it inside the 10-yard line for the Coffin corner. And we're going to take a short break. Zeros on the scoreboard when we come back to West Lafayette. Well, the Boilermaker train and the offense on the right train right now, but on the wrong track. 2 successive 3-and-outs. As Brandon Kirsch, the true freshman, in at quarterback today. 1st down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Purdue 1-2 in Big Ten Conference play. A win today for them pivotal. The toss, Joey Harris. And he's brought down right in the line of scrimmage. Don't forget, coming up later, an SEC battle in Death Valley. South Carolina taking on number 12 LSU. That's tonight at 7:45 Eastern Time, 4:45 Pacific on ESPN. Boy, LSU, one of the real feel-good stories. The backup quarterback Marcus Randall taking over, getting the start for the injured Matt Moss.
Speaking of feeling good, those fans will feel good tonight because they have all day to heat it up down here in Baton Rouge waiting for that game.
One of the great scenes in college football. 2nd and 11. They run it again. Harris. And Harris run out of bounds at the 33-yard line, and that's Purdue's first down of the ball game. Harris, the 5'11" junior. One
of the great things of the spread offense is, particularly with Michigan in a 3-man front right here, you see the bubbles created by alignment. And Purdue takes advantage of it by running the lead draw right at the bubble. And a big 2nd down conversion right there on 2nd and 10.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. Harris again trying to get to the edge, and if he does, it could be trouble, but he's chopped down at the 37-yard line by Jeremy LeSueur. Joey Harris, Bob, if they can ever get him going downhill, he has 10.28 speed in the 100 meters, and he can fly if they can cut him loose.
He has 4 games this year, Mark, that he's gained over 100 yards. The difficult thing he has now, he has a lot of competition. It's a good thing, but Brandon Jones, the redshirt freshman, had 128 yards last week against Illinois. So he's not getting quite as many touches as he had early in the year.
A real engaging young man and student athlete. 2nd down and 6. Harris again. Bouncing it outside and brought down after breaking a tackle. Right near the 1st down marker at about the 43 or 44-yard line. Victor Hobson making the stop.
Mark, you see the plan again. When Michigan goes to their 3-man front, Purdue again runs the football. And they're having success. Again with the lead draw against the 3-man substituted defense. Joey Harris right here shows a bit of his speed, breaking some tackles, and a good hard run right there.
Joey Harris talked about the need to be a little more patient and improve his reads. They are that much short of the 1st down, Reese Davis. Let's go back to you in the studio.
All right, Mark, and we'll go down to Tobacco Road, North Carolina and Virginia. Virginia's won 10 straight meetings at home against the Tar Heels. Darian Durant firing a nice one in there to Jaworski Pollock, and he's making the great grab for the touchdown, putting the Tar Heels up by a touch. Fred Russell has scored for Iowa. They're up by 7 on Indiana.
Iowa continuing to move up the national polls. And Bob, that's a pivotal game and kind of a dangerous game for the Hawkeyes. The type of situation where you could, I say could, get caught looking ahead to next week going up to Michigan.
This sounds opposite of what you might think, but Indiana beating Wisconsin last week probably helps Iowa in their coach's preparation for this game, because Indiana got the players' attention from Iowa by beating Wisconsin last week.
Julius Curry, the player shaken up for the Wolverines.
Mark, this affects Michigan because, as we talked earlier, Michigan will play a lot of 3-down linemen, 2 linebackers, and 6 defensive backs in the game. So they have a lot of depth at the defensive back position, but in this football game, they're going to play a lot of defensive backs.
They did lose Zia Combs last week against Penn State. Injured, but fortunately recovering. 3rd down and 1, and flags on the play. So far, it's been all Joey Harris on this drive.
From the snap, false start offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
We're here at Ross 8 Stadium in West Lafayette, Indiana. Number 9, Michigan taking on Purdue, the 50th meeting between these two crews. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe. No score so far. Joe Tiller's team looking at 3rd down and 6 after the penalty. Shante Orr making an appearance, his first up front defensively for Michigan. Kirsch got the 1st down and tiptoes out of bounds at the 49-yard line. The true freshman showing a little bit of poise. Running for 10 yards and a 1st down.
You see quickly why Joe Tiller made this decision to go with Brandon Kirsch. He's able to create plays on his own, particularly out of the spread offense that Purdue runs. His rushing statistics, Mark, are amazing because Purdue does not have a lot of predetermined quarterback runs. He's averaging 7.5 yards a carry, mostly on scrambles.
Doing that all on his own. They run it out to midfield. That's Harris, stopped after a gain of 1. Let's go downstairs to Holly.
Guys, the senior for the Purdue team called all of their players together for a players-only meeting on Monday evening. Running back Joey Harris told us that it was very positive. They're just 3-4 on the season, but they feel like they still have a lot to play for. The seniors wanted to point out that they could still become bowl eligible, winning 3 of their next 5 games. They said it was not at all negative. They just want to make sure everyone's head is in the right direction to finish out this season.
Yeah, Holly, when you lose close games like that, 4 of them by a total of just 20 points, it can be somewhat discouraging, but the spirits and the temperament of this team very much up during the course of the week. Harris once again down to the 45-yard line, tackled by Marlon Jackson. Cato June making the stop.
Cato June and Marlon Jackson, Mark, actually become linebackers in this dime package that Michigan plays. And you see Cato June right here. He's taking that linebacker role serious. He's going to get some big boy pads on right now.
They run it, and it's Chambers on the pass. And it's a first down for the Boilermakers. Anthony Chambers. And with about 5:09 to go in the first quarter, Purdue keeps moving the first down markers.
Another element, Mark, that Brandon Kirsch gives Purdue is play-action pass. Something they did an awful lot when Drew Brees was here. Fake the zone play, come out on bootleg action, and throw the crossing route. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Purdue come with some type of play action here and take advantage of Brandon Kirsch.
Well, they set it up well, running the ball 12 times compared to just 2 passes. Ninth play of the drive, Kirsch. Going to take off, made a nice move, and is brought down hard at the 31-yard line, making a good career decision, Reese Davis.
State Northwestern, Mark, Penn State, unhappy with the officiating. Larry Johnson running as if he's running through a side judge. Getting down to the 1, Sean McHugh cashed it in. Nittany Lions on top by 7.
Yeah, Penn State among the schools very upset with the officiating in the Big Ten, issuing a statement this week. Joe Tiller saying that he's an advocate himself for instant replay, but Bob, it becomes an issue of cost.
Well, the problem is all the fans have instant replay right now because of the Jumbotron. So the officials, they have a much more difficult situation now because these fans all get to second guess even more than normal.
They run it again. Harris brought down at the 31-yard line by Lazarus. You surprised, Bob, that Purdue has run the ball as frequently as they have so far?
I'm not, Mark. Going back and watching Purdue every game this year, they really want to come out and establish the running game. And Jim Chaney's an old offensive line coach, the offensive coordinator. And it's deceiving. Purdue actually rushes for more yards than Michigan does. So Purdue, although they're spread, try to establish the running game early.
Going against perceptions a little bit. 3rd down and 2. 2 tight end formation. Kirsch on the bootleg. And he's going to be close to the first down at the 28-yard line. Charles Drake, the strong safety. The 6'2 senior making the stop. And it's a first down for the Boilermakers.
We talked about the bootleg a minute ago, Mark, and there you see it. It looks like number 15, Drew Brees, back at quarterback. And what a dimension this adds for Jim Chaney in this offense. Think of this drive, how many plays Brandon Kirsch has created that Kyle Orton, even though I like him, couldn't have created because he's a drop-back quarterback.
First down and 10 for the Boilermakers. Little bubble screen and stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Anthony Chambers got jacked by Marlon Jackson. That's a nice-looking hit.
Purdue brought the bubble screen to the Big Ten. But the problem, Michigan is a man-to-man team. And you see Marlon Jackson. Mark, I think he is one of the next great corners that's going to come out of Michigan. He's more than a cover guy. He'll come up and hit you.
He had some motivation for this week's game because last week against Bryant Johnson of Penn State, he was victimized a few times. Said they got me last week, but they won't get me this week.
The great corners have to have a short memory, Mark. Last week's over.
13th play of the Purdue drive. Kirsch on the quarterback draw. Brought down at the 24-yard line by Rumashek and Stevens. Well, tomorrow night, catch 2 episodes of ESPN's hit new series, reality series, Beg, Borrow, and Deal. At 9 Eastern, while Team Kobe is challenging NHL goalie Fred Brathwaite in Hockeytown, Team Contact is spinning its wheels in Richmond, Virginia. Then at 10, catch another edition of Beg, Borrow, and Deal presented by Miller Lite. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Keyword Beg. And Team Kobe up 7-3 right now, if you're counting. Tell you, they got some attitudes on that team, too, Bob. I watched last week's episode and tell you, things really getting abrasive there between some of the team members. At least they did have a birthday to celebrate last week.
Are you saying they're not in total harmony?
None.
Like you and I are up in this booth?
No, they're not. They're not even close to the same vibe that you and I are.
No.
1:52 to go in the first quarter. We'll be right back after this. 0 with 1:52 to go in the first quarter, and Coach Joe Tiller said that, this team is so young, so naturally they're a lot more resilient than people give them credit for, coming off of 2 disappointing losses. 3rd and 7 for quarterback Brandon Kirsch, the true freshman, getting the start today. And now audibling at the line. Michigan coming with pressure. He goes up top. Incomplete. Intended for the big playmaker, John Standiford.
One of the difficult things in empty no-back formation, it's hard to disguise. And you see Michigan here, straight man-to-man coverage, rushing 7 people. Purdue gets the matchup they want. They go up top on the home run. The ball slightly overthrown. So hard, Mark, to disguise coverages against the spread offense.
Bob, here's Baron Lachovic from 41 yards out. He's had a good week of practice, but this one is a little bit short. Lachovic has received a little bit of special motivation and inspiration in the last couple of days, but comes up short on that attempt. He is now 3 of 9 on the season.
Michigan, Mark, traditionally one of the best teams in the country at sending leapers at you. And here you see Pierre Woods getting vertical. I'm not sure if this ball is tipped or not. Going against the wind for whatever reason. Not enough juice on that kick.
The Wolverines take over on the 25-yard line. Edwards in motion. Chris Perry running hard. Broke 1 tackle, brought down at the 32-yard line by Stuart Schweigert. And Reese, what's up with the Golden Gophers?
Golden Gophers getting some business done in the passing game, Mark. Saad Abdul-Khalik going to air one out for Aaron Hosack. It'll be his 3rd touchdown of the year, and none prettier than that fingertip grab to get in there. The Golden Gophers have tied it at 7, and the Wolfpack having no trouble with Duke. 14-0. Rivers accounting for a couple of touches.
All right, 2nd down and 3 for the Wolverines. Sanderson in motion. Perry once again, and Perry stopped up right at the line of scrimmage. Good tackle by Landon Johnson, in spite of the fact that he's been struggling with a shoulder injury, a dislocated shoulder all year. A good group of linebackers for Purdue.
Brock Spack, Mark, the defensive coordinator from Purdue, an old Purdue linebacker himself, loves these linebackers for the Boilermakers.
He really works them into a lather before the game. 3rd down and 2. Edwards in motion. Navarre to pass. Completes it to Askew, who tiptoes down the sideline all the way down to the 40-yard line. Brought down finally by Kudavidis. But B.J. Askew gives you so much versatility on offense, running the ball and as a receiver.
B.J. Askew, their 2nd leading rusher, 3rd leading receiver, and you see him take advantage right here. B.J. Askew is a fullback. They're going to bring Braylon Edwards in, curl him, send Askew to the flat, and B.J. Askew comes up with really a great catch right here, Mark, and turns it upfield.
Meanwhile, the ball batted down, Bob, at the line of scrimmage on the attempted pass by Navarre. Sean Phillips got one of those big paws up there. That's something you see happen frequently with Navarre.
John Navarre, we had him in the Utah game, and something we noticed, and it continued with our film study, Mark, a lot of balls batted at the line of scrimmage. Even though he's 6'5" or 6'6", he does a lot of 3-step short drops, and he throws the football down low for a big, tall quarterback.
Something the Purdue defense is very much aware of as well. 2nd down and 10. Askew the lone back. Purdue coming with a blitz off the edge. And Askew on the screen. B.J. Askew. 1st down, Wolverines at the 16-yard line. B.J. Askew a season ago was a tailback. Bought into the notion now of being the starting fullback and helping the team out in a big way, picking up 26 yards. That's the end of the 1st quarter. Michigan 1st and 10 when we come back. Stadium here in West Lafayette. Start of the 2nd quarter. Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe down to the field. 1st down and 10 for Michigan. No score so far in the ball game. But the Wolverines driving, courtesy of a couple of key plays by Navarre and Askew. Here's Chris Perry. Perry is brought down at the 13-yard line by strong safety Ralph Turner. Take a look at our ESPN Gateway game track. Brandon Kirsch making his first career start as a true freshman. And Lajovic missing a field goal from 41 yards out just a few moments ago. He is now 3 of 9 on the season. And I'm telling you folks, special teams has been the bane of Purdue all season long. It's really hurt them. 2nd and 7, backs out of the eye for Michigan. Bar on the play fake. He's going to take off. You won't see it happen that frequently, but Navarre has a first down inside the 5. Tackled by Antoine Rogers.
John Navarre once again looking for B.J. Askew in the flat. Good escapability right there. I can't go far enough to say great athleticism, but good escapability. John Navarre tucks the football, and that is really difficult on Purdue if John Navarre carries the ball.
And not a good sign for the Michigan hopefuls. That's Chris Perry, the starting tailback, and the leading rusher on the team down in the field. Writhing in pain right now on the far side 18-yard line. It was Perry last week who against Penn State got his team motivated at halftime, literally reading his teammates the riot act, telling him, hey, we have to go out and take control of this game and make some plays. Inspiring his team on to victory late in the 4th quarter and into overtime. But right now, laying supine at the 18-yard line. His backups have not gotten a lot of carries this year either.
Michigan coaches, Mark, told us Chris Perry, one of the toughest football players and best practice players on Michigan's team.
Got out of the gate quickly this season and really has averaged just under 100 yards a game rushing.
You're going to see Chris Perry, Mark, right here. Looks like he gets bent over. Someone probably falls on the back of his leg.
Sanderson and Askew now in the backfield. This is Askew. Jumped on top of the pile, no whistle, and rolled his way down to the 1-yard line.
You see Michigan right now with their jumbo backfield. Sanderson, the fullback, is 280 pounds. B.J. Askew, who really wants to be a tailback, moves from fullback to tailback. But Sanderson is a good athlete. At 280 pounds, they said they won't hand him the football until he gets under 265 pounds, Mark.
Might never see it happen. Here's Askew. Touchdown, Wolverines. The versatility of B.J. Askew paying dividends for the Wolverines. And Michigan gets on the scoreboard first.
That was B.J. Askew's drive. 2 big pass receptions, and then gets a chance to show his tailback skills carrying the ball into the end zone.
Askew does so much, catching, receiving. Coaches praise his ability in pass protection as well. Extra point up and good by Nienberg. And with Perry on the sidelines, B.J. Askew, wearing several hats today, slides into the end zone untouched. 7-0 when we come back. 5 yards. Eclipsing 3:17 on the clock. With 13:23 to go here in the first half. Grabs to kick off. And back deep, it's Chambers and Boyd for Purdue. Boyd started off at the 8 and brought down at the 24. 16-yard return.
Mark, we look at the touchdown. Michigan's base play is the power off tackle. They run that considerably more than they run any play in their offense. And they try to run it off tackle. Purdue spills the ball outside. The problem, no one to spill the football to.
You know, Rob, one of the problems for Purdue of late has been falling behind early in ball games, digging themselves into a hole, and they find themselves in that position again here, down 7-0. Kirsch over the middle, complete. to his tight end, Mike Reinhardt. Brought down right near the first down marker. Let's go back to Reese with an SEC update.
Down between the hedges, Georgia supposedly with a breather this afternoon, and that's the way things are starting off. David Green looking for Fred Gibson, 35 yards out over the toasted Commodore, and Dogs are up by a touchdown early, and Tom O'Brien showing no mercy to Navy so far. It's 22-0.
Second down and 4. Goes to the ball at the 30-yard line for the Boilermakers. Their last drive was the longest of the season by time. 6.5 minutes. Kirsch through the arms of his intended receiver. Number 83, Mike Reinhardt, once again. A catchable ball. Be 3rd and 4.
Brandon Kirsch right now, Mark, came into this game 61% of his passes for completions. Struggling right now throwing the football. 2 of 6 for 4 yards. He throws the football much more accurately than we are seeing right now. But once again, it's a lot easier being a relief pitcher coming off the bench. This is the first time he's had to step out there at the beginning of a football game and be the guy.
He's got them in a 3rd down and 4. Standiford in motion. Empty formation for the Boilermakers. Complete. Stubblefield. And Stubblefield is brought down to the 40-yard line by Jackson. And Jackson could not prevent the first down by the Boilermakers.
Michigan enough ability in the secondary to lock up and play man-to-man coverage. Purdue comes back and runs the crossing route to Taylor Stubblefield. You see him right here catch the football. Another big first down. Mark 29 catches now over the last 4 games for Taylor Stubblefield back from that injury.
Told us at practice yesterday, hey, talk about it. Said, hey, do something for us. Kirsch trying to do something and brought down at the 37 for the sack. The pressure that time led by Larry Stevens.
Purdue, Mark, we've noticed a little bit of pattern in them watching them. They run the ball early in the game, first quarter. They seem to throw the football a lot in the 2nd and 3rd quarters and then come back and run it in the fourth quarter of the game. And for some reason, they're in that pattern. It may be the points you made that they've fallen behind early in football games and are forced to throw the football in the 2nd, 3rd quarter.
I saw Jim Chaney just a few moments ago. His offense making huge strides since last year. And they were 105 in the nation in total offense. Michigan coming with pressure. Kirsch going to take off on his own. Slides down to the 45-yard line. It'll be 5 yards to go for the first down. 3rd and 5.
Michigan comes with a blitz. Larry Stevens, number 13, loses contain a little bit. He may have been held a little bit, but Brandon Kirsch breaks it outside, gets away from the inside linebacker pressure, turns that into a 6-yard gain.
A little bit of a chess match between Jim Herman's defense right there for Michigan and Chaney, who you saw for Purdue a few moments ago up in the booth. 3rd down and 5. Kirsch. Complete. Stubblefield has the first down. His forward progress being marked at the 44-yard line. Came back to the ball nicely before being tackled by LeSueur.
Very difficult to maintain coverage for that long. Another advantage that the scrambling quarterback gives you. Right here you see Purdue in kind of a bunch formation, trying to beat man-to-man coverage. Taylor Stubblefield, great job of staying alive when the quarterback scrambles, going to the open spot on the field.
First down and 10 for the Boilermakers. Gonna run it, that's Brandon Jones. Brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Jones, one of 4 tailbacks for Purdue. Jones coming off a big week last week against Illinois, had 24 rushes for a total of 127 yards.
And 98 of those yards, Mark, in the 4th quarter against Illinois. Another thing he did, they threw a wheel throwback pass to Brandon Jones for a huge touchdown off of the play action. Keep that in mind, because Michigan, a man-to-man team, sometimes you get a linebacker locked on that tailback, man-to-man coverage.
All right. And Jones still in the game. He gets the handoff. Stopped up at the 44-yard line by Hobson. And Reese, what's happened in the Big Ten with the Nittany Lions?
Well, Nittany Lions are running right through Northwestern, the worst rush defense in all the land. Larry Johnson already over 100 yards, scores a touchdown there. That game's going on over on ESPN 2, and it's already 14-0. They're barely into the second quarter, and Fred Russell's showing out again. Iowa's up by 17 on the Hoosiers.
Last week it was good that Indiana beat Wisconsin, but right now it's not because it got the Hawkeyes' attention.
You can't sleep on them anymore.
They're not going to sneak up on anyone anymore, the Hoosiers.
Purdue 5 of 8 on third down today. It's third down and 9. Got to get just beyond the 35 for the first down. Chris James split wide to the top of your screen. Pass complete. And Stubblefield steps out of bounds at the 32 for the first down. Stubblefield picking up 12.
Purdue loves it when you play zone coverage. Here you're going to see 3 deep zone. This is the flat player right here. Taylor Stubblefield just works to the void in the zone right here. Mark, almost impossible to play a steady diet of zone defense against Purdue. You won't see Michigan in many more snaps of zone defense as this day progresses.
Those DBs going to be worked hard, including Julius Curry. And the rest of that Michigan secondary. First down and 10 for Purdue, and Kirsch has some real estate out in front of him. Kirsch brought down at the 11, and another first down for the Boilermakers. Marcus Curry making the stop. A pickup of 21 yards.
Jim Chaney comes with the blitz right here, bringing Charles Drake. Once again, they lose contain, and Brandon Kirsch takes advantage of it. Larry Stevens again rushes inside the offensive tackle. You can't give him those kind of running lanes, Mark.
11th play of the drive coming up for number 11, the true freshman. That's right, Brandon Kirsch. Getting his first career start in a huge form today against the Wolverines. Brandon Jones in at tailback, and Kirsch calls a timeout.
The mobile quarterback in this.
Look at the world's largest drum, and right now the Purdue offense banging the drum slowly. Mounting a charge here. Nose of the ball on the 11-yard line. With 7:57 to go in the first half. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie. Holly Rowe down in the field. Julius Curry was shaken up a few moments ago, and hope to hear from Holly shortly on what his status will be for the rest of the game. First down and 10. Empty formation. Kirsch in the end zone, incomplete, and a flag down. Intended for Reinhardt, the tight end.
You're going to see Reinhardt, the big tight end, coming across the field right here. And you're going to see Charles Drake right here is going to arrive a little bit early and come over the back. Wow.
They're going to place the ball at the 2-yard line. Substitution package coming in for the Wolverine defense.
Also substitution package for Purdue's offense down here in short yardage situations. Normally, they go ahead and go with some defensive personnel on the field. Sean Phillips.
Number 15, and Goldsberry, number 44, the up back. Boyd is the tailback, and it's a waggle. Kirsch runs into the end zone, outrunning Stevens for the touchdown.
He has all the tools in his toolbox. We just looked at Jim Chaney. He's like a kid at Christmas with Brandon Kirsch because he can do whatever he wants to do. He's having flashbacks to Drew Brees being back in West Lafayette, Mark.
That extra dimension at quarterback, so vital, so important. Lajovic now in for the extra point. And the Boilermakers have tied this ball game up. The second rushing touchdown this season for Brandon Kirsch, the true freshman, showing poise well beyond his years. We'll be back. Number 11, Brandon Kirsch, the true freshman quarterback who recently engineered that scoring drive. 11 plays, 76 yards.
The mobile quarterback again, and who it causes the biggest problem for is Victor Hobson, number 6. The outside linebacker wants to make a play, jumps inside of the tight end, and gives up contained right there to Brandon Kirsch.
Lloyd Carr had an off week when Purdue was playing Iowa a couple of weeks ago in Iowa City, and he came away from that game thinking that if number 11 starts when they meet Purdue, then it might be a little bit of trouble. Said he was really impressed with the young quarterback for the Boilermakers. Masur and Bracken back deep for the Wolverines. Majbek kicks it into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. Let's go downstairs for an injury report from Holly Rowe.
Guys, you get the sense right now that the Michigan secondary is in disarray. First, they lost to starter Zia Combs last week, and now today, Julius Curry with a sprained right knee is out for the rest of the game. He was important in their nickel package. He actually made the trainers pull the table over by the defensive secondary bench so he can tutor some of the young players who have taken his place. John Shaw, number 22, is a strong safety end. He's only played on special teams this year. They're trying to get their act together on the secondary.
All right, Holly, and we saw that Perry is not back in the ball game. It's Sanderson and B.J. Askew. This is Askew in a tailback once again, and Askew is stopped up behind the line of scrimmage at the 17-yard line. So, Reese Davis, the plot thickening here a little bit. Back to you.
All right, Mark, down between the hedges, Vanderbilt got a little offense going. Jake Cutler looking for perhaps the most underrated receiver in the SEC. Dan Stricker has terrific hands, made a nice grab. Cutler cashed it in on a short run after that. Vanderbilt and Georgia are tied up. North Carolina up by 2 touchdowns on Virginia. The Cavs won 5 in a row, but they are on the doorstep at the moment.
All right, Reese, back here. It's 2nd down and 13. Sanderson in motion. Navarre complete at the 34-yard line to Ronald Bellamy. The 6', 202-pound senior steadily evolving into a key player in the offense. He picks up 17 for the first down.
Michigan off the play action pass. They're going to come back and hit Ronald Bellamy on the square end right here against zone coverage. Good delivery, good timing right there by John Navarre. Ronald Bellamy goes down and digs that football out. Ronald Bellamy, Mark, they've moved him back to X, the wide receiver position that he plays on the line of scrimmage, and he's had huge success since the Michigan coaches have done that. Really has been a productive player.
You were telling me about an interesting recruiting story involving him down in New Orleans, where he's from.
I was in a Burger King, standing in line, you know, big-time head coach.
Have it your way.
A Whopper. And we were recruiting another player, and I started talking to him. He was with his younger sister, and I find out everybody in the country was recruiting him as a wide receiver.
Got to hang out at more BKs. First down and 10, and B.J. Askew is not having it his way. Well, later tonight, we start in the SEC, 6:45 Eastern on ESPN. Auburn against Rex Grossman and the number 24 Florida Gators. College football Saturday night presented by the U.S. Postal Service. Then number 7, Notre Dame against number 15 Air Force at 10 Eastern time. Whew, that's going to be a nice one. 2 undefeated teams, and Notre Dame could be undefeated at 7-0 when they play Florida State coming up. 2nd down and 10. Edwards in motion. He's been relatively silent so far. Navarre is sacked back to the 26 by Jolovic. Vedran Jolovic makes the sack. That's the 22nd of the season for the Boilermaker defense.
Michigan comes back 2 consecutive plays. Play action. You're going to get Zolazak right here, the right defensive end, matched up on number 62, Courtney Morgan. And just great effort, staying with it, comes from the backside. John Navarre's fortunate right there that Zolazek didn't strip the football out.
Puts Michigan in a rather imposing position at 3rd and 18. Purdue coming on a blitz. Navarre just got it away before getting drilled, but it's incomplete. It was intended for Butler. Great pressure by Nico Kudavides. And it's 4th down for Lord Carr's team. And he is irate on the sidelines. Lord Carr is hot. Finley into punt. His 2nd of the afternoon. A high spiral. Coming down at the 31. That's Chambers. Flag down on the far side of the field. Chambers down at the 48-yard line of the Wolverines. And Purdue a little bit jacked up. A 42-yard punt. A 21-yard return. We'll see if it stands, though. There's a flag at the 40. And it's against Purdue. Joe Tiller's special teams this year has been one of the sore spots for him.
Think back to Iowa.
On the return, holding, 10-yard spot foul, 1st down Purdue.
Yeah, you think back to Iowa, they had a punt blocked and a field goal blocked.
Both for touchdowns.
Joe Tiller trying to turn the beat around for a good couple of weeks. And now is the man directing the offense. Brandon Jones, the lone back. 1st down and 10. Pierce completes it. Complete to Standiford for the 1st down at the 42-yard line. I talked about Kirsch a few moments ago. Here's what he's done. He's mixed up the passing game with a few very timely runs of his own.
Mark, we saw in that graphic 9 carries for 51 yards by the quarterback. So the added dimension to this offense. But the thing I sense right now, there's some confusion in Michigan's secondary. You see a lot of players late getting lined up. It has to do with the injuries they've had the last couple weeks in the secondary.
Here's Joey Harris. And Harris is out near another Purdue 1st down at the 48-yard line. Let's go back to Reese in the studio.
Boy, Mark, you better keep your eyes on the monitor for this one. West Virginia and Syracuse, 13-0. Rasheed Marshall has already scored 1 touchdown, but it's not enough just to score a touchdown. Sometimes you got to go triple Lindy and get in the end zone, and the Mountaineers are laying it on the orange. Terrence Edwards has scored for the Dogs. David Green off to a hot start. 14-7 Georgia in the other game.
Another one of those spread offenses taking advantage of a mobile quarterback. It also looks like he has some acrobatics to it.
Got a good score from the French judge on the landing. 1st down and 10. Jones stopped up by Marlon Jackson from his corner spot. Brandon Jones, as I mentioned, 127 yards rushing last week. Very impressive against Illinois.
Think back a year ago, Montrell Lowe, the little tailback from Purdue, had so much success, Mark, over the last 3 years. Montrell Lowe is now 4th on the depth chart here at Purdue. So it shows you the new talent they have.
2nd down and 8, little bubble screen. That's Anthony Chambers, number 4, brought down by Brandon Williams. And Montrell Lowe last year had 126 yards rushing against Michigan. But this year has not played, yeah.
Excuse me, Mark. We talked yesterday to Montrell Lowe on the sidelines at practice. The ups and downs of college football. Teaches you life's lessons. You know, it's not the bad things that happen to you, it's how you handle them. I think Montrell's doing a great job of taking a negative situation. May not turn it into a positive, but dealing with it right now.
3rd down and 4. Pierce got it off just in time for the 1st down. Stubblefield down to the 31-yard line. Boy, the true freshman hung in there and delivered a dart.
Great job by Kirsch hanging in there, but you're going to see Stubblefield, his famous option route, where he just breaks away from the defensive back, number 21, Jeremy Lesor, sits down in the void. Incredible percentage of Stubblefield converting for 1st downs. And you see the freshman quarterback sticking in there against the pressure from Cato Jr.
First down and 10 as we approach 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Pierce hands it off to Joey Harris. Harris, the speed guy, brought down at the 23 by Curry. Harris, the speed guy. Montrell Lowe just watching from the bench for more. Here's Holly.
Guys, Joey Harris told us yesterday that Montrell Lowe has taken this as a positive, though. Every time they come out of the game, he will talk to the young running backs and tell them seams they could have looked at differently or things they could have done on their blocking scheme. He said he's been a coach on the sideline, and that's been just as helpful.
He's doing a good job coaching. He wanted to claim that last run of Brandon Jones right there because Brandon Jones just ran over a couple of guys from Michigan.
Brandon Pierce has connected on his last 6 pass attempts, but he hands it off this time. Jones once again to the 22-yard line. Well, it's an SEC battle in Death Valley tonight. Lou Holtz in South Carolina into Baton Rouge to face number 12 LSU. Keep in mind, backup quarterback Marcus Randall gets the start for the injured starter Matt Mock. South Carolina LSU at 7:45 Eastern on ESPN 2. Well, Nick Saban's got things going a little bit down there in Baton Rouge.
But I'll tell you what, South Carolina really good on defense, really multiple on defense. That's a tough situation for a backup quarterback to go against that South Carolina defense.
3rd down and 1. Davis in motion. Not sure they got it. Brandon Jones stopped up by Carl Diggs, and he's short of the first down.
Michigan brings Carl Diggs right here, the linebacker on the plug stunt. He anticipates the play, a negative yardage play. He gets in the backfield unblocked. Now a big decision for Joe DeTiller. He goes with the field goal attempt right here. A 40-yard field goal attempt.
Lachovic, 3 of 9 of the season, looking for just a small break, and he still can't get one. Missing from 40 yards, 0 for 2 today. And the Boo Birds out in full effect. Not only has the young man been hearing the whispers walking around campus, but receiving some very unfriendly emails from fellow students. And Reese Davis, I know your emails are all good when it comes to halftime, right?
Let's certainly hope so. It's not a new thing at Purdue. Travis Dortch experienced that. We'll go around the Big Ten, the explosive offense of Iowa in action. We'll check in on that. The game day guys getting ready for Notre Dame and Air Force. They're out in Colorado Springs. We will hear from them. And among the 10 undefeated teams, George is in action already. We'll get you up to date on the Dogs. See you in a bit.
All right, Reese, and Baron Lachovic, a young man from Bosnia, still struggling. One of his last 7 field goals. This is B.J. Askew breaking one for the first down out to the 39-yard line. A missed tackle on the play by Stuart Schweigert, who's playing this game injured. Under a minute to go here in the first half. Tied at 7. Michigan now in their hurry-up offense. Navarre out of the shotgun. Complete to Bellamy. Runs for the sidelines of the first down right at the marker. And pushed out by Rogers.
Mark, I go back to last week. John Navarre in the 4th quarter and overtime against Penn State. 8 for 11 with 2 touchdowns. So he likes this situation. His confidence is gained over the last couple weeks. He was in this situation a week ago at the end of the football game.
It really could prove to be one of the defining moments in his Michigan career. Engineering drives, scoring drives of 11 and 12 plays to bring them back and win in overtime.
Mark, while we have a second, let's go back to Purdue's kicking woes again. And the momentum of the football games, how they're changed. Purdue a second ago was kicking a field goal to go up 10-7.
They've missed 2 field goals today. And a flag down on the near side of the field.
Stop play.
It could easily be Purdue leading by 6. But instead, it's tied at 7.
Prior to snap, ball start offense. 5 yards, go first down.
Folks, we welcome the members of Carrier Air Wing 5 at Asuji, Japan, who fly their planes off the deck of the aircraft carrier USS Kitty Hawk, our only permanently forward deployed flat top in the Navy.
Michigan first and 15.
A nice shout out, a warm shout out to all all of the people serving our interests in the military today.
I'm glad you had that sushi Japan right there. I might have stumbled on that.
I eat a lot of sushi, man. Navarre, incomplete. You know, Bob, I noticed one thing. With 38 seconds to go here in the first half, one guy who's been conspicuously silent so far is Braylon Edwards. Where's he been in the big scheme here?
Excellent point. You know, it became a little bit of a fullback passing game early with B.J. Askew. Since he's moved back to tailback, it's really been Ronald Bellamy. So that's a great point. Braylon Edwards absent from the offense.
Michigan trying to at least get into field goal range. Navarre, that's who we talked about. Braylon Edwards making the catch at the 27-yard line. The big play receiver who caught the winning touchdown last week.
Mark, he's back. Braylon Edwards, big, tall, athletic receiver, going up the top on Jack Reeves. Obviously just a 6'4" receiver on a 5'11" defensive back. Jump ball situation.
They are in field goal range and dangerously into traffic. That one for Bellamy, incomplete. With 24 seconds to go in the first half. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Wolverines. Navarre showing a lot of poise.
Mark, something developing here. We see Courtney Morgan, number 62, the left offensive tackle, who gave up the sack a little bit earlier on the play action. Adam Stenovich, the starting offensive tackle, number 79, is not even here on the trip. And we're not sure why. Maybe there was an injury or something this week, but a big test right now for Courtney Morgan, playing his first full-time football game.
And there was some movement on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and a flag down on the play.
Final snap, false start offense. 5-yard penalty.
On the right side of the offensive line, Petruzziello and Pape. Let's go down to Holly.
Guys, Adam Stenovich and Matt Lenz, two very promising offensive linemen for Michigan who've had significant playing time this year, didn't make the trip. They both got injured Wednesday after practice. That was announced to the media. We don't know the specific injuries as Lloyd Carr does not disclose those, but they're not even here on the trip.
Lacking a little bit of depth then up front are the Wolverines. 2nd down and 15. Ball back at the 32. Off the edge, a little pressure, but the pass complete. That's Bellamy once again.
Kudavides defending.
Nico Kudavides pushed him out of bounds at the 27.
Terry Malone really impressed with Nico Kudavides, Purdue's leading tackler as the middle linebacker. Said he's one of the finest players in the Big Ten.
They talk a little bit of junk to opposing players, too. A.K.A. Mr. Mean, Kudavides.
Michigan loves the crossing route right here. Look for the receiver to come across the field, Ronald Bellamy.
Navarre out to Edwards, complete right at the first down marker, where he's marked down to the 17. And the clock stops now with 8 seconds to go in the first half. So Braylon Edwards, just as you think he's out of it, he comes back into the picture.
See Braylon Edwards at the top, working to the flat against 3 deep coverage. There's a void in the zone. What you would like to see right there is Braylon Edwards stay with the catch and gain yards after it. To me right there, he tried to make a spectacular acrobatic catch. He didn't need to. Catch the football and get up the field. There was a lot of yardage for him.
Michigan calling a timeout. They have 2 remaining now. Braylon Edwards, dangerous once you get inside the red zone. We'll be right back. Kickers, including Philip Brab, struggling this season. Just 4 of 12 in all.
Difficult decisions, obviously, right here for Lloyd Carr. 8 seconds left in the half. Probably try to throw the football in the end zone and see if you can get a big play here before the half. The thing you do not want to do is get sacked, although Michigan does have a timeout left.
Navarre is 4 of 7 on this drive.
In the 21st century, the vampire Lestat knows no fear.
We are the powerful.
Except one. Akasha, the mother of all vampires.
Join me or die.
She takes pleasure in only one thing.
Aaliyah. Stuart Townsend.
Destroying a life.
Anne Rice's Queen of the Damned, directed by Michael Reimer.
Come out, wherever you are.
Every Tuesday night, ABC proudly presents the Comedy Extravaganza with John Ritter.
Daddy?
Oh, God, what do you want?
Jim Belushi as the Big Belushi.
The night belongs to me, baby.
The incomparable Bonnie Hunt.
That wine is so strong. You're both getting better looking.
And introducing Sarah Rue.
At least we got ourselves a happy one.
ABC's Comedy Extravaganza. 2 hours of nonstop laughs. Every Tuesday on ABC.
And halftime report, Reese Davis.
All right, Mark, so Purdue, which has stayed in every game this season but been befell by various and assorted types of ailments and
Davey, Holly Rowe down in the field. Bob, at the top of the show, we talked about John Navarre, the hot hand he had coming into this game. He seems at his best. One of the things, Bob.
Mark, but a couple things leads to why the time of possession is so overbalanced for Purdue. First of all, rushing yardage, Michigan. Think back Chris Perry getting injured. B.J. Askew having to go to tailback. The second thing, third downs, Purdue 7 of 11. Brandon Kirsch with his legs creating a lot of plays on his own. That's the reason Purdue 19:45 time of possession, but 2 missed field goals for Purdue.
And Michigan countering with a field goal to end the first half of play. Chris Perry was back there on kickoff return, so the assumption being that he is all right. Ball out of bounds at the 15. We'll start off on the 35. Michigan will. A look at our gateway game track. Kirsch conducting the attack and orchestrating a touchdown there, capping it off with a 2-yard run. And then to end the first half, a 33-yard field goal by Nienberg. And a little over exuberant almost on the celebration. That was more waiting to exhale than anything else. First down and 10. Navarre to pass. Going up top for Edwards. And it's picked off by Jacques Reeves. Michigan goes for the jugular on the first play of the quarter. And the Big Ten sprint champ makes the pick.
This is great coverage right here by Jacques Reeves. And the thing I like so much about it, he doesn't panic at all. He looks back for the football and goes up and wrestles it away from Braylon Edwards. But think back. Bouncing back as a corner, Jacques Reeves was beat late in the first half. Michigan tried to come back, exploit it again. He jumps up and shows his resiliency, Mark, and makes a play.
All right, the 8th interception for the Purdue defense this year. Underthrown, intended for Standiford. And let's go downstairs to Holly.
Guys, I asked Joe Tiller at the half to rate his quarterback's performance in his first college start. He said Brandon Kirsch was okay. On his first series, he said it was a disaster. He didn't make checks. The second series, he made 2 wrong checks, but he said he did some good things with his feet to make up for it. He said they will be able to exploit the thin secondary of Michigan here in the second half. For Michigan, Chris Perry, their tailback, is okay to play. He has full mobility of that right ankle. They say they'll keep an eye on him and see how effective he can be as he runs.
All right, Holly. First turnover of the day moments ago by Michigan. Pass complete. Down to the 32. Taylor Stubberfield on the pass from Kirsch. Stubblefield, one of the favorite targets for the quarterback so far today.
Taylor Stubblefield once again running in his patented option route, working on the linebacker, Zach Kaufman. The play action pass by Brendan Kirsch, working Stubblefield to the flat.
Purdue doesn't really hurt you on those vertical passes, but they can really be lethal underneath. 7 of 11 on third downs. Stubblefield 5 catches today for 48 yards. Kirsch incomplete. Tight coverage and good coverage by LeSueur. And it's 4th down.
Michigan goes to man-to-man coverage now to stop the option route. Jeremy LeSueur, great job of stripping and working against Tyler Stubblefield to get that football out of there.
And now into punt is Brent Slate.
Michigan defense, good job of sudden change defense right there, coming off the turnover, forcing Purdue to punt the football back.
Marcus Curry standing on his own 29-yard line for Michigan. Slayton with a high kick, comes down to the 30. Curry takes it back to the 38-yard line. 8-yard return off of a 38-yard punt later tonight. Start things off with Auburn against number 24 Florida. Florida really plunging in the polls, and then number 7 Notre Dame against number 15 Air Force. 2 undefeated teams. Who would have ever thought that that would be the situation at this point of the season for both Notre Dame and Air Force? A look at the remaining schedule for the Fighting Irish. And a realistic opportunity of perhaps running the table. A lot of things have gone their way this year. First down and 10. Perry back in the ball game. His first carry since being nicked up earlier down to the 42. Tackled by Ralph Turner, the strong safety.
It's good to see Chris Perry back in the football game. He looks a little bit there, Mark. I don't want to read too much into it. It looks like he's being bothered a little bit by that leg injury, just in his body mechanics right there.
Yeah, coming off the field now. You know, he took it personally that Michigan did not have a runner. Actually, that he didn't have a run over 30 yards last year. His first run of the season went for 57. So he erased that real quickly. Second down and 6 now for the Wolverines. Navarre, his second pass of the day, tipped. That one by Sean Phillips. Get those hands up and good things will happen from time to time.
One thing that Terry Malone talked about when he asked him this week, on 3-step drops, they were going to try to chop the defensive linemen to get their hands down. Here you see the fullback, B.J. Askew, stay up high, and the ball's batted once again. John Navarre, another batted pass, sets up a big third down here.
They're 3 of 6 in such situations. Almost brought down, but finds Bellamy for the first down. Ronald Bellamy down to the 36-yard line. Navarre getting out of harm's way, making a nice throw. John Navarre under the spotlight, no longer just one of the 11 guys on offense.
Sean Phillips on the pressure on Tony Pape. Misses an opportunity to get a sack. But you're going to see Michigan right here, something they love. The crossing route and then the deep square and in behind it on the high-low. Ronald Bellamy, another big completion.
B.J. Askew now running off tackle over the right side of that line. For big Tony Pape. For 77. John Navarre made a huge commitment to his conditioning a season ago, and Lloyd Carr very happy with that commitment. He dropped a lot of weight, about 10, 15 pounds. And it's really paid off for him this year. Michigan 5-1 on the season, undefeated at 2-0 in Big Ten Conference play. Pretty impressive numbers for John Navarre. Alvin Bell now in at receiver. Second down and 9. Bell in motion. They give it to Askew, who tries to cut it back and brought down to the 32. Let's go back to Reese.
All right, Mark, down 21-0 to start the second half. Virginia takes a second half kickoff. Marquise Weeks right up the middle. I'm not sure anybody's going to lay a hand on it. Marquise Weeks, end-to-end 100 yards, trying to get Virginia back in the ball game. It's 21-7 there early in the third quarter.
All right, Reese back here, third down and 7 for the Wolverines. Butler splits wide to the top of your screen. Bellamy in the slot towards the bottom. Navarre underneath. Butler tackled at the 26-yard line. Just a touch, apparently shy of the first down. We're here at Ross-Ade Stadium, West Lafayette, Indiana. Number 9, Michigan taking on Purdue. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe. And so far, it has been a pretty close game in terms of the ball moving up and down the field between the 20s, but neither team able to put many points on the board so far.
Interesting decision right here again. 4th and 1. Lloyd Carr sends in his field goal kicker. See if he can continue that momentum.
And now now they're going to change formation and go for it on 4th down. Askew, oh, it's going to be close. Not sure he got it. I don't think he got it. Antoine Rogers knifed in there off the corner to disrupt the penetration in the flow.
Mark, when you don't have a field goal kicker, it forces you sometimes to do too many things and be too creative. Michigan right there, not so much that they wanted to go for it on 4th down, maybe felt they had to go for it on 4th down. I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't line up and just try to convert the 1st down rather than tricking Purdue.
You know, Bob, a lot of the fans booing, I think because of the spot. It'll be a little closer than we initially thought. But Purdue will take over on downs. Michigan was 5 of 7 on 4th down before that.
Mark, once again, when you don't have a field goal kicker, normally you line up right there, kick the field goal, or you go for it on 4th down. But because of not having a kicker, you become almost too creative right there.
B.J. Askew, close, but not good enough. We'll be right back. 2 drives of the second half, throw an interception, and then turn it over on downs. Joey Harris in the tailback on 1st down and 10 for Purdue. Both teams still waiting for something big to happen. Harris trying to make it happen, but can't. And brought down to the 20-yard line by Victor Hobson. Let's take one more look at that fake field goal.
Mark, you go back sometimes when you trick people, the disadvantage, you don't know how they're going to react. Right here, you see confusion on Purdue's part on defense. But the problem is Michigan doesn't know where they're going to line up. So they go ahead and snap the football. They run out of a split back formation. Ralph Turner and Landon Johnson step up and cause a negative play. My point being, if you line up in a conventional formation, at least you know where the defense is going to line up, and it's your players against their players. That time, Michigan outsmarted themselves, and Purdue came up with a big stop.
Here's Kirsch. Brandon Kirsch out to the 32-yard line, got a lot of the yardage back. It'll be 3rd down and about 4 to go for Purdue's offense.
This is a predetermined quarterback run on the quarterback draw. Brandon Kirsch, one thing I think, Mark, he ought to go ahead and protect that football a little bit. He kind of swings it out there. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan comes in and strips that football or punches that football out there from behind.
Turnovers have been a bit of a concern this year, Bob, for Purdue. They put it on the ground a lot earlier this season. 3rd down and 4. Standiford in motion. Kirsch on the slant, incomplete. In and out of the arms of Taylor Stubblefield. And Reese Davis has a Big Ten update for us.
Penn State is opening up a can of whooping on Northwestern, Mark. Larry Johnson doing what Capoletti, Dozier, Carter, Thomas, and Kurt Warner couldn't do. Rushed for 257 yards in a single game. I don't know if he's going to get many more opportunities. Penn State's laying the wood. It's 42-0.
Larry Johnson's a great player. And I don't mean to be sarcastic, but Northwestern has turned a lot of tailbacks into career rushing leaders or career rushing days.
Heisman hopeless. This punt going to be down at the 38-yard line. And Michigan, after the 30-yard punt, going to start with pretty good field position when we come back. Both teams still waiting to get in a groove when we come back.
About a 31 yards.
Or anytime. Conagra Foods. We set America's table.
Tire is proud to be the official tire of the Big Ten Conference.
Well, Glenn Mason still going. Colleague under center. Rolling to the field side. Looking back to the boundary side. Gets it away into the end zone. And got Burns for a touchdown.
Four-wheel.
Beg your pardon. 2-point conversion there.
The backside, UTEC left side sets up. Go away, wasn't open. Abdul Khalik, good presence of mind to keep his eyes focused downfield, and Burns find the open spot.
Minnesota leads it.
Down payment and 0 monthly payments for 90 days. See retailer for restrictions.
ESPN's presentation of college football brought to you by Saturn, makers of The View, redesigned L Series, and the all-new Ion. And by
a look at campus and a look inside here at Ross-Ade Stadium. The Purdue band getting their boogie on, but so far their team, Bob Davie, trailing by a field goal. First down and 10 Wolverines at the 38-yard line. First down and 10. Chris Perry back in a tailback. Askew offset out of the eye. Perry busting one over the left side. And a strong, authoritative run before finally being brought down by the free safety, Stuart Schweigert, but a pickup of 14 yards and a first down.
First of all, a great job of John Navarre right here of checking and running away from the strong safety fire of Purdue. And you're going to see an excellent block by B.J. Askew on the isolation. And Chris Perry creases him at the line of scrimmage. First big run today by Chris Perry.
Those are the ball on Purdue's side of midfield. Boilermakers coming with pressure, and a nice pickup and hot read to Bellamy, complete near the 40. Let's go back to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, and Minnesota continues to give Michigan State fits. Asad Abdul Khalik firing one high and outside to Tony Patterson. Beautifully thrown ball. Second career touchdown for Patterson. 2-point conversion was good. 21-7. And look at Duke back in the game against NC State. That's not being televised, but we'll keep an eye on it for you.
All right, Reese, at the end of last year, Abdul Khalik was one of the top quarterbacks I felt in the conference. Second down and 1. Askew plowing his way forward, stopped up right at the first down mark with the 39 by Landon Johnson. B.J. Askew has the lone touchdown for the Wolverines today, and he has a lot of motivation coming into this game because he said that last time they played here at Ross-Ade Stadium, he played perhaps one of his worst football games ever, especially with respect to blocking and picking up his blocking assignments.
This is a tough place to play, Mark. And you just look at Purdue and how they've been successful under Joe Tiller at home, not so successful on the road. But this is a difficult place to play. It used to be several years ago, the grass was so high here that it was like a pasture. But Joe Tiller's cut that grass down a little bit.
Well, they're getting a little faster. This is Perry showing a little bit of burst in speed down to the 20, actually the 31-yard line. The standings now really beginning to take some semblance of shape here in the third Saturday in October. Iowa really on a roll right now, perhaps the hottest team in the conference along with Ohio State.
Maybe the hottest team in the country, Mark, and I know that's a strong statement. Key game for them next week when they go to Ann Arbor. But Iowa is a good football team, particularly offense and special teams.
Get a chance to see that game actually next week, right here at noon Eastern on ESPN. Navarre back to pass, has Edwards. Touchdown, Michigan. You got to keep an eye on number 80.
Michigan able to run the football a little bit. Once again, sets up the play action pass. Braylon Edwards on the post just beats Jacques Reeves to the inside. Mark, we'll look back a little bit and see exactly what happened to the free safety right there. Looked like Purdue was in 3 deep coverage, but no free safety in the middle of the field.
The extra point is good, and that was John Navarre's 41st career touchdown pass, his 14th of the season. Braylon Edwards, who'd have thought that he would have this big a season when a little over a year ago he actually thought about leaving the University of Michigan. His 8th touchdown catch this year.
Mark, we get another look at it. You're going to see the free safety right here. They're really playing a little bit more of a quarters coverage where the safety reads off the number 2 receiver. And for some reason, The corner, Jacques Reeves, allows Braylon Johnson inside. If you're going to have the safety suck up, then the corner needs to play inside leverage rather than outside leverage because there's no post help right here. So a well-designed play by Michigan, a poorly executed defense right there by Purdue. Jacques Reeves left out on an island without the free safety able to help him on the inside cut of the outside receiver.
Bob, night and day in terms of Braylon Edwards' work ethic this year. And sometimes it just happens that way when players mature a little bit and they turn from freshmen into sophomores.
I've got to tell it like it is, though. I've got to give you some credit because Braylon Edwards wasn't even at this game until late in the second quarter when you brought up the point, where has Braylon Edwards been? Since that point, he's shown you where he's been, Mark. Yeah. He stepped up and made a lot of big catches in this football game.
Late in the second quarter and here now in the third quarter, the second touchdown of the game for the Wolverines.
And what really helps Michigan and Braylon Edwards is the emergence of Ronald Bellamy as the other receiver. Ronald Bellamy, 6 catches for 68 yards. When we had Michigan against Utah, Michigan was one-dimensional trying to force the football to Braylon Edwards.
Terry Malone's new offense really spreading it around. This is Anthony Chambers taking it out of the end zone. All closed up. And Reese Davis, what's up with those Cavaliers, Virginia?
Well, Mark, we saw them go 100 yards for the kickoff return. Now they go 98 on a 12-play drive. Matt Shaw, who's 5th in the nation in passing efficiency, finding Billy McMullen for the touchdown. And the Cavs are right back in this thing against North Carolina. 21-14 the score. BC continues to lay it on Navy.
Boston College, man, a couple of weeks ago, we had a chance to see them in a close call against Virginia Tech. Joey Harris in at tailback. Time for the Boilermaker offense to go to work and get with the program here. Kirsch up top for Standiford, incomplete. He was working on Marlon Jackson.
Philip Brabs right here taking out his frustration from the field goal kicking aspect and making a tackle. Now, he didn't exactly form up.
He fell.
He fell. He slipped a little bit, but he got him on the ground. Actually, he flinched a little bit right there before contact, but
he's laughing too.
Yeah, he's got a knot on his forehead right there. I think he got kicked in the forehead.
That's turning purple, it looks like. Yeah. Second down and 10. Boilermakers, though, a team that have shown in the past, especially last week, that they can come back from big deficits. A dangerous throw, almost picked off by LeSueur. It was intended for Standiford. So far, we haven't seen much of that Brandon Kirsch magic. We were alluding to the comebacks against Iowa's where it really began for Kirsch. And against Illinois again last week when his team was down 24-0.
Something this graphic shows you, Mark. They've been behind in games, and they've climbed that mountain to make comebacks. At some point, you got to get over the mountain. If you keep climbing and don't get over the top, you lose a lot of energy. So it's important for them to rally in this football game, but also win a football game, because they've had some tough losses.
Third and long. Kirsch complete at the 35 to Stubblefield, but he's right at the first down marker, apparently a little bit short. John Shaw made the stop.
Mark, I think you think here, if you're Joe Tiller, he's going to punt the football, but I know Joe Tiller well enough that he's tempted right here to go for this on 4th down.
Purdue in the third quarter so far, Bob. It's been 3 consecutive 3-and-outs.
Mark, you have to punt the football in this scenario. But I know what Joe Tiller's thinking. He does not want to give that football back to Michigan because Michigan is hot right now on offense.
The offense really starting to come. And here's the punt from Slayton. Gets off a great one back to the 13. Curry out to the 23, a 10-yard return off a 52-yard boot by Slayton. We're going to take a short break. Michigan leading by 10 when we come back to Rossay. To get back on offense on the next series. Questions now about perhaps who the next quarterback might be. Will it be Kyle Orton, who started the game on the bench? First and 10 for Michigan. Backs out of the eye. It's Askew and Perry. Murray between the tackles. Gains a couple of yards out to the 25 before being brought down by Landon Johnson. This Michigan offense no longer a one-trick pony.
We talked earlier about Michigan's bread and butter, the power. And here you see it, double down, kick out by the fullback, off tackle play. You know one thing, Purdue worked on that play all week.
2nd down and 7. 2 tight end formation for the Wolverines up front. Little play fake. Navarre got it off just in time behind Edwards, though. Incomplete. Let's go to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, and let's check out a little Conference USA action. TCU and Louisville. This was a big-time revenge game, Louisville said, because TCU beat them last year, but the red scoring going on in Stillwater. Huskers by 4.
One of the big games this week in the Big 12, Iowa State and Oklahoma. That's going to be a good one.
That's a great game. Great matchup. Also, Texas at Kansas State.
3rd down and 7. Navarre steps up. Incomplete. Ripped away at the last moment by Antoine Rogers, the team's best cover corner. It was intended for Ronald Bellamy. And Michigan will send on its punt team. Rogers made a couple nice plays today.
Michigan again with the crossing route. They send Braylon Edwards shallow. Ronald Bellamy in deep. Great effort right there by Antoine Rogers stepping up. Mark, those kind of plays are where you establish a foundation to come back in a football game. That was a huge 3rd down stop right there for Purdue.
Finley with a great punt ball back to the 23. Chambers brings it back to the 32. There's more great college football action this afternoon on ABC. Number 4, Ohio State taking on Wisconsin. I think Seneca Wallace might be the Heisman favorite right now. Number 16, Iowa State taking on number 2, Oklahoma. I'm going to call for the upset there, Bob. Number 17, Washington against USC, and Wake against Clemson.
One thing I learned about this business.
What's that?
You can call for a lot of things from this booth, and if it doesn't work out, you just go on about your next thing.
See you next week.
In coaching, when you call for something and it doesn't work, you don't just go on about your business the next week.
And it's Kirsch incomplete at the 41-yard line. Not sure who he was trying to throw the ball to that time either.
Purdue the last 2 weeks against Iowa and Illinois, you see 507, 566 yards. I think Brandon Kirsch, he's played well so far in this football game. I think he's on a short line right now because Kyle Orton is going to be heating up here in a minute because Purdue's going to get in an all-pass situation.
2nd down and 10. They trail by 10 points with 4:19 to go in the 3rd quarter. Purdue trying to snap out of a 2-game losing streak. Flag down at the near side of the field. The pass complete to Stubblefield at the 41. And Holly Rowe, tell us what's up with the quarterbacking situation.
Well, in the first half, Kyle Orton, who did not get the start today, was very aloof. He was away from the coordinators that were calling the plays, sending the plays in. But in the last 2 series, he has come and stood right next to the guys. He's looked at the game plan and gotten mentally involved. Just now, he's gotten back, ready to warm up. It looks like he will be taking off the baseball cap, looking for his helmet. We'll see if they put him in the game.
Now, Holly Orton is from Altoona, Iowa, and a couple of weeks ago against the Hawkeyes, things kind of fell apart for him a little bit. His personality in stark contrast to the guy that got the start today, the true freshman Brandon Kirsch. They say that Orton is
5-yard penalty, previous spot, repeat 2nd down.
Orton more of a soft-spoken, quiet type of leadership, while Kirsch is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more gregarious, outspoken, has the wild hair and everything.
They love the way Orton is calm and controlled during the games, but it drives him crazy during the week in practice because he's so low-key. Kirsch, on the other hand, is an excitable guy.
2nd and 5, Kirsch is going to take off. And hook slides safe at the 43-yard line. The 1st down and 10 for Purdue.
You're going to see once again confusion right here by Michigan. They're a little bit late getting lined up. They have Purdue. Purdue has them when they're in the empty spread offense, confused and late getting lined up. I look for Purdue to continue in the empty backfield, maybe pick the tempo of this game up a little bit to cause even more confusion.
Complete over the middle. To the big tight end, that's Mike Reinhardt. For the last couple of weeks has really become an integral part of this Boilermaker offense. And a big target at 6'6", 263 pounds.
Mark, you see something right here, the chess match, cat and mouse. Michigan with probably 15 players on the field waiting to see the substitution from Purdue. Purdue now signals in their formation. Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator, goes with what personnel he wants from Michigan. A lot of chess game going on, but also some confusion on Michigan's half right now on defense.
Another empty formation on 2nd and 4. Stanford in motion. Kirsch complete. Once again, it's Reinhardt, the tight end. And it's another Purdue first down at the Michigan 37-yard line. A 14-yard pickup.
What you're going to see here, Michigan decides just to rush 3. And they run a twist up, no contain at all, nobody in the throwing lane. So an easy throw for Brandon Kirsch. One thing people don't talk about or understand, Mark, sometimes, the throwing lane is so important. With defensive linemen getting their hands up, making the quarterback throw over the top of people.
Kirsch taking off this time. And he steps out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Back to the tight end situation, and Mike Reinhardt, number 83. They got a good situation with him at a sophomore. Davis is a freshman. He starts the ball games, but they're quickly, well, maybe not so quickly, but at least a little bit making people forget about the great tight end they had here last year, Bob, Stratton.
And think of all the productivity. I mean, Stratton was basically a big wide receiver playing tight end, caught 45 or 50 balls. They're just now getting that kind of productivity out of Reinhardt.
2nd down and 3, and a little motion on the offensive line. Number 77, Pete Lockheed, appeared to pull out just a little bit early.
Prior to snap, ball start offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
The ups and downs of college football. We talked about Kyle Orton a moment ago. Looked like he was going in the football game. He was in the bullpen. He was warmed up. He was ready to go. Kirsch makes a couple first downs, makes a throw. He's back on the bench. So you have to stay mentally tough on that sidelines because his opportunity's coming. It's just when will it come, Mark?
2nd down and 8. Kirsch, on what looked like a called play, takes off and put his hat down. And is brought down at the 31-yard line by LeSueur. Let's take a look at the Miller High Life storyline. Brandon Kirsch getting his first career start, a true freshman, folks. Completed 61% of his passes coming in.
Mark, you wonder, Kirsch starting for the first time. A lot of mental anxiety, which, as you know, sometimes wears you out. And he's carried the ball a lot. He better be a well-conditioned athlete because at some point he's going to get tired right here. And he has carried the football a lot of times.
3rd down and 4. Standiford going in motion. Michigan coming with a little pressure. Complete to Standiford, still on his feet. Touchdown, Purdue! "31 yards on the strike, and the Boilermakers are back in it. Standiford with his 18th career touchdown catch and his 8th this season. Vacevic now in for the extra point. Which certainly at this point cannot be taken for granted. Regardless, he knocks this one through, and they're within a field goal of tying up this ball game.
We look on the all-22, Michigan straight man-to-man coverage, blitzing 7 defenders straight man. One of the hidden points in man-to-man coverage. You better tackle after they catch the ball. John Standiford, a great job of making a miss. Brandon Jones, a little block downfield, but straight man-to-man coverage. Everybody talks about covering. What I worry about is tackling. You've got a linebacker, Zach Kaufman, out there. Poor effort by Zach Kaufman, but Mark, he's playing out in space, someplace he's not used to playing.
Standiford was challenged by Joe Tiller at the end of last season to get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. Bob, we looked at him down in the field yesterday, and they say that he weighs about 205 pounds, but he didn't look any more than, well, I don't know, 190. He's a pretty stringy guy.
He doesn't, but I got to tell you what, the hook has been taken out of Brandon Kirsch's mouth. He is in the football game. We talked just a series ago, Mark. I thought it was about time. I thought Joe was going to yank him. He's back in full force. I'm curious right now, Kyle Orton's reaction on that sideline.
Here's speaking things over with the brain trust on the sidelines, and the complexion of this ball game, one in which both teams who are kind of waiting for something big to happen, has changed slightly. A swift kick down to the 38, and let's go back to Reese talking about the Cornhuskers, Reese.
And the children of the Corn a little uneasy away from Lincoln these days, Mark. They're up 7-3 on Oklahoma State. Josh Fields might as well take it himself, and the Cowboys under Les Miles. They're on top 10-7, and look at Duke. Crept to within 2 of North Carolina State. We're watching that for you.
Don't be thinking about basketball season for the Blue Devils now. I know right where you were going. They're playing football. Duke's a much improved team this year.
Sure are. And boy, Phillip Rivers quietly putting up great numbers. 1st and 10. Wolverines run it. Askew that time out to the 40-yard line. Had a chance to speak with one of the NFL evaluators this year, an NFL general manager, who told me that B.J. Askew has really upped his stock this year in the conversion. And Bob, the feeling is that he has gone now from a middle-of-the-pack tailback in switching positions now to a higher-round fullback.
I can see it. Versatility. He can run, he can catch, and he's also in the game in the one-back set that you see so much of in the NFL for pass protection.
2nd down and 8. Navarre to pass. Wide open, Jopru. 1st down and then some of the big fella doing his hurdling act down to the 43. Benny Jopru, the big tight end out of Minnesota. 17-yard pickup and a 1st down.
Michigan again on the crossing route. This time they bring Jopru, the tight end. You're going to see a high-low stretch across the top. Jopru comes completely wide open right here against zone coverage. A bust in the secondary right there for Purdue. They basically gave up the flat.
1st down and 10. Avant in motion. Perry bouncing it outside. Chris Perry tackled at the 38-yard line. Gained about 4 on the play. We're here at Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette, Indiana. Number 9, Michigan, trying to improve to 6-1 on the season and stay undefeated in conference play. Taking on Purdue. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe down in the field. John Navarre coming into this game with a hot hand. And in the second half here has kind of gotten hot again.
Mark, I'd like to go back to a point. We talked about being creative with the kicker. Purdue struggling. They squib kicked it with Levin, the kicker. Michigan got the ball on the 40-yard line right here to start this series.
A good field position. Askew fighting his way to the 35.
Excuse me. Not to belabor this point, but it forces coaches to do things they don't want to do, to be too creative instead of just kicking the football down the field.
All right, Bob, and Lloyd Carr has beaten every opponent in conference play so far on the road, except for Purdue, looking for his first win here when we come back for the 4th. The Wolverines. Nose of the ball resting at the 33-yard line. Dubik and Jopru in at tight end. Edwards in motion. Perry stopped up short of the 1st down by Nico Kudavides. Mr. Mean strikes again. Time now for our gateway game track of the ball game. Look at some of the cogent points that have evolved so far. Edwards with a 31-yard touchdown catch. Coming alive since late in the 1st half. And then Standiford for Purdue with a 31-yard catch and run. Breaking a tackle. 4th down and 1. And Michigan is going for it.
Mark, I wouldn't be surprised to see B.J. Askew in the flat right here off of play action.
They give it to Perry.
They didn't make it.
Not sure he got there. Antoine Rogers off the corner, and Purdue will take over on down. The Boilermaker defense pumping up the volume a little bit.
Michigan's offense struggling running the football. Something we talked about going into this season. Terry Malone said they had to run the football better. They have struggled, particularly in short yardage situations. Mark, I'm a little bit surprised on 4th and a good yard and a half that they didn't play action right there and throw the ball to B.J. Askew.
LeVar now in the sidelines. Purdue, 1st and 10. A blitz off the corner. Kirsch incomplete. Intended for Stubblefield. Let's take one more look at that 4th down play. Michigan 0 for 2 on 4th down today.
Purdue brings the corner and gets penetration right here. Antoine Rogers, he is unblocked and makes the play in the backfield. Michigan should have accounted for him by either motioning the other tight end over or putting in the receiver in a situation where you don't let an unmolested defensive back have a chance to get into your backfield with penetration.
2nd down and 10, empty formation. Purdue has never led in the ball game. Michigan bringing pressure again. Incomplete, intended for Stubblefield. And let's go to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, and it appears that the Cavaliers have come all the way back. Once down 21-0 to North Carolina. Wally Lundy into the end zone. We are locked up with 12 minutes to play. 21 all, the Cavs and the Tar Heels, and it looks as if the Wolfpack has survived. 2 and change left to go. They've scored a touchdown. Rivers to Jericho Cotchery. It's 24-15 late.
Mark, that Virginia game, how many times do we see the kicking game start comebacks? Virginia taking that second half kickoff the length of the field for a touchdown.
Made the difference. 3rd down and 10. Kirsch into heavy traffic. That ball could have easily been picked off. Number 37, Zach Kaufman, had it go off his hands. And it's 3 and out after the big stop by the Purdue defense. The 5th 3 and out today.
Not a great series right here. You see Marlon Jackson, the corner in zone coverage. They try to go to the square end to Stubblefield. Really double covered right there.
The one element that seems to be missing from that Purdue offense is the deep ball. Slayton punting. Not one of his better efforts of the day. Shanks this one.
Kicking game continues to be their Achilles heel.
Just a 26-yard effort by Slayton. And Michigan once again will start off with good field position when we come back. Timeout on the field. Back in a minute. Here at Ross-Ade Stadium, I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe down to the sidelines. Number 9 Michigan leading by 3. With just under 14 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Michigan looking to stay unbeaten in conference play. Purdue looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Perry falling forward to the 43-yard line. Reese, what's up in the ACC?
Well, Bob mentioned that the kicking game got the Virginia rally started, and now they're just dominating the second half. Matt Shaw throwing it out to Ottawa. Anderson, he's going to run through that finger, grab fanny tackle, and score. And the Cavaliers up 28-21 in Stillwater. Oklahoma State and Nebraska. Rashawn Woods had dropped an earlier touchdown pass, didn't drop that one. OK State up by 10.
All right, Reese Navarre back to pass on the screen. This one well read by the defense. Nice tackle that time by Sean Phillips at the 45-yard line on Perry.
See, Chris Perry to me is still limping a little bit, Mark. Doesn't look to be 100% in this football game.
Perry coming off to the sidelines now. 3rd down and about 6 to go.
Think how hard Michigan is to defend, how difficult they are to defend with their balance. With the tight end, Jockru, Braylon Edwards, and also Ronald Bellamy. A lot of weapons out there. Look for Braylon Edwards back underneath.
Came in motion. Navarre got it off to Askew. And that's a tremendous safety valve. Askew with the 1st down at the Purdue 36. Tackled by Stuart Schweiger.
B.J. Askew in the game in the 1-back set for protection. Just leaks out as a little safety valve. Good decision by John Navarre. Critical right now for Purdue's defense to rise up. You sense this would be a great opportunity for Michigan to play action and go down the field. but I noticed Braylon Edwards nor Ronald Bellamy are in the game right now.
That's Askew in motion. The reverse is number 27, Calvin Bell. Got room, got Navarre with a block. Touchdown, Michigan. A little trickery will do you a little good. Calvin Bell got a nice block from his quarterback, John Navarre, and went 34 yards for the score.
What you try to do is get a tip right here if you're on defense. You notice Calvin Bell, number 27, with a short split. You knew they were going to try some big play. They come with the full reverse, and it's a huge momentum swing. Home run for Michigan off the reverse.
Nienberg missing the extra point. From elation to disappointment for Lloyd Carr, but it's tough. Lead after the missed extra point. But Terry Malone has shown that this Michigan offense, Bob Davie, is no longer just a one-trick horse. I mean, they have so many different variables now.
They're a big play offense as well. Either play action pass, throwing the football down the field, or in the case you saw there, reverse. Once again, a lot of talented receivers on this football team.
Boyd. Rod Boyd, there's a flag down back to the 25. And Boyd run out of bounds by Brabs. Let's go back, take a look at the touchdown run.
This is what drives coaches crazy. Broxback comes with the corner fire. When you come as a corner on a fire, you're responsible for the deepest and the widest containing the football. For some reason, the corner blitzes down inside, gives up contain, and you see Calvin Bell with John Navarre out in front of him leading the way for the touchdown. That could have been a huge play right there. Actually, it was Antoine Rogers on the corner blitz. It could have been a negative play against Michigan.
Instead, Bell takes it the distance for the score, and now we have a new quarterback in for Purdue. So the roles very much reversed from a week ago when Orton started the game, was pulled after going 12 for 14 with 2 picks. And in came Brandon Kirsch to lead his team into overtime. But now it's up to Orton to rescue Purdue's hopes with 12:16 to go in the 4th quarter. Kyle Orton. Incomplete. Almost picked off by Marlon Jackson. Let's go downstairs to Holly Rowe.
Guys, the coaches say that Kyle Orton has a much better grasp of their entire offensive package. They say he's better at the line of scrimmage with his checks and that he is coming off the best week of practice in his entire career. See if they open up the playbook a little bit more because of his knowledge.
All right, Holly, and you know, Orton a lot different from the other quarterbacks at Purdue. Doesn't have the big-time name like a Drew Brees, and not the swagger that Brandon Hance seemed to have while he was a starting quarterback, just a normal guy. As Kirsch now watches from the sidelines. Standiford in motion. Standiford on the catch. Dragged down by his collar, the 17 by Cato June. Let's go to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, look at this. Duke, North Carolina State, they're inside 10 seconds. Adam Smith, who's had a huge day, hit Perry Sharp for a 40-yard touchdown. It's a 2-point game. Time winding down. One of the 10 unbeatens being challenged with just seconds to go.
Duke has to set up the three-pointer right now. I'm serious. Get it inbounds, take the three-pointer from behind the arc. They're going to win.
Where's Coach K when you need him, right? 3rd and 6. Purdue has converted half of the time today, 8 of 16. Complete underneath. Short of the first down to Stubblefield. Well, tonight at 6:45 Eastern Time, Auburn against number 24 Florida. On ESPN, then a game that has been much anticipated and highly debated. Number 7 Notre Dame against number 15 Air Force. Incredible that Air Force has had this much success with their quarterback not completing more than 6 passes in any one game this year, Bob. Amazing
problem
statistic.
is when they throw it off that play action, it's usually a big home run. They don't have to throw it much.
7th punt of the day. And Slayton gets off a huge one. This is Curry. Nice return out to the 36-yard line, a 55-yard punt. Air Force, the top team in the Mountain West Conference right now, looking for a trip to the Liberty Bowl, as well as winning, of course, what's important to them, the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. And looking to crash the old BCS party more than anything else.
The wishbone offense, the great neutralizer. You think about Navy, even though they're struggling right now under Paul Johnson, they will be a better football team. I'm still surprised that Army abandoned the wishbone and is trying to spread the field in their offense.
It'll be real interesting to see what happens if Air Force is undefeated at the end of the year. First and 10. Perry hurdling, stiff arming, straight arming down to the 42-yard line. Chris Perry with a real courageous effort today, playing injured.
Chris Perry again following the lead block of B.J. Askew. B.J. chops Joe Odom, the outside linebacker. You sense right now, we talked a little bit earlier about Purdue having to have climbed a mountain so many times the last couple weeks. Really important for them to dig down right now and hold on, because they're hanging off a cliff right now, Mark.
Chris Perry taking a breather on 1st and 10. They give it to Askew running between the tackles down to the 37-yard line. But back to Chris Perry. I don't think that you can say enough about his temerity and his strength on the sidelines, playing injured and limping.
Michigan going to pound them a little bit. They go with their big jumbo fullback, 280 pounds. They hand the ball to B.J. Askew on the ISO and just trying to ram it down their throat right now.
Second down and about 5 to go for the Wolverines. Askew the deep back out of the eye. There's Askew again. Brought down at the 35-yard line by Joe Odom. Bob, how tough is it when you get a guy like B.J. Askew, who really in his heart wants to play tailback? How do you sell him as a coach on playing a different position?
Mark, you can do a lot of things, but it comes down to the young man buying into it for the team first. And second, now he sees the success he's had playing that different position. But you can do a lot of talking. In the end, the young man has to be a strong character guy. He's going to step up and do it for the team first.
Third down and 4. Purdue coming with a blitz. The bar locked it up. And they're going to rule it complete at the 21-yard line. Bellamy ran under the ball and astutely made a fantastic catch. Ronald Bellamy continuing to improve.
Tough to see on that angle right there if Ronald Bellamy got under the football. Right here, it looks like he did catch the football, Mark. And when it goes good, it continues to go good. And for Purdue right now, momentum is definitely against them.
Bellamy having a huge day. Askew with the carry, stopped up at the 21. Let's go to Big Ten action and Reese Davis in the studio.
We may have a showdown that's all set up now, gentlemen. Iowa and Indiana. Hawkeyes with a 17-6 lead. Brad Banks to Maurice Brown. This is the 20th touchdown of 20 yards or longer for the Hawkeyes this year. And the showdown I speak of course, the Hawkeyes headed to the Big House next week. And North Carolina State held on to beat Duke by a deuce.
Tell you, man, when Brad
deep crossing routes take so much time. Give Michigan's offensive line credit. The deep crossing route back to the corner by Braylon Edwards. And a great play right here by number 28, Jacques Reeves, of getting that football out of there at the end. But those play-action passes, Mark, take an awfully long time. Credit Michigan's offensive line.
quietly doing a very good job today protecting their quarterback. Third down and 10. Pressure coming, blitz from Purdue. And that's the third time today John Navarre has had a ball tipped or batted down at the line of scrimmage. The second time it's been done by Sean Phillips.
John Navarre once again continues to have problems getting balls batted. They come with the blitz. Sean Phillips right there, really in a spy mode of spying off, is able to bat the ball. And once again, Michigan will attempt, Mark, right here, a 37-yard field goal.
Greenberg has made one already today. They faked one earlier. And this one's blocked. It is blocked. The Boilermakers special teams making a decisive play. Sean Phillips, for the second consecutive play, raises up and makes a big play. Second block this year.
Mark, sometimes when you're struggling as a place kicker, you take a little bit longer than you should. And right here, Sean Phillips just working, getting a lot of penetration, and right there you see that hand go up and deflect the football. Purdue finally a positive play on special teams.
Yeah, usually this year it has gone the other way for Purdue when it comes to the kicking game. Sean Phillips, the one guy in that defensive front that has the ability to change the complexion of the game and make some big plays. First down and 10. Kyle Orton in at quarterback. On the slant, complete. Out near the 30, that's Standiford. About a yard shy of the first down.
Michigan locking up man-to-man coverage. Marcus Curry on John Standiford. May pushed off a little bit, but Kyle Orton delivers the football right there.
Standiford up to 208 pounds out of Monrovia, Indiana. Second down and 1. They run it for the first down. Joey Harris. Time now becoming a bigger factor for the Boilermakers, trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. They're 3-4 overall, 1-2 in conference play. They can really use a win today.
And Purdue does, Mark, even with 6:40 left in the game. I think they need to pick the tempo up a little bit more for a couple of reasons. Michigan thin in the secondary. Pick the tempo up, put some Michigan, and also conserve time.
Orton, incomplete, intended for Ray Williams. A dangerous throw broken up by LeSueur. Now tomorrow night at 9, catch 2 episodes of ESPN's hit reality series, Beg, Borrow, and Deal. While Team Kobe is challenging NHL goalie Fred Brathwaite at Hockeytown, Team Contact spinning its wheels in Richmond, Virginia. At 10 Eastern, Team Kobe looks to America's pastime. He's trying to achieve 2 tasks. Now get this, they got to throw and sing. Meanwhile, Team Contact is up at bat as they look to strike gold on Tobacco Road.
You keep working at this profession, there's going to be a Team Jones in that thing.
I do a lot of
things. I'm just telling you, I've heard good things from you back at the studio.
I can beg, borrow, and deal, but right now, Orton not dealing the right hand. Shante Orr is on the sack. His first game back from injury. He missed the last 2 games against Illinois and Penn State.
Shante Orr right here working on Pete Lockheed. The offensive tackle reaches out from behind and grabs the back of that jersey of Kyle Orton. That's one of the reasons we talked yesterday with an equipment man from Michigan about those tight tailored jerseys,
right.
Mike. Used to be, a few years ago, they used to put that slippery stuff on those jerseys so you couldn't grab them. But the NCAA has outlawed that.
3rd and long, 17 to go for Kyle Orton. To the sideline, complete, and a first down at the 37. Ray Williams came back and made a big clutch grab. Wisely getting his feet down, a 38-yard pickup.
First of all, Mark, a great decision right here by Kyle Orton of not running for the first down on 3rd and 20. He decides to stay behind the line of scrimmage, throw the ball right on the sidelines. Very close. I think he did have possession and 1 foot down. Great 3rd down conversion by Kyle Orton in Purdue.
1st and 10, Orton up top. And it's picked off by Curry, Marcus Curry. He tried to get it all with John Standiford. And the momentum swinging right back to Michigan after a big third down conversion by Ray Williams.
It kills you, but it really puts a knife in you because it was first down, Mark.
And offensive coordinator Chaney smarting after that pick. Marcus Curry, the 5'11" sophomore, with the interception. And the Michigan defense putting a nail in Purdue's proverbial coffin. Rough day for the Boilermaker offense. We'll be right back. Away. Big interception by Marcus Curry just a few moments ago, his second this season. Michigan's 10th of the year. 1st and 10 Wolverines in the shadows of their own goalposts. And they're going to whistle this one dead. One of the key plays of the ball game so far, a few moments ago in the 4th quarter, Calvin Bell on a reverse. And keep an eye on number 16. That's your quarterback, John Navarre. Threw a key block downfield to spring Bell loose and into the end zone. And Michigan now on the verge of improving to 3-0 in Big Ten Conference play. We're here at Ross-Ade Stadium. It's number 9 Michigan against Purdue. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe down to the field. 1st down and 5 to go for the Wolverines. The penalty against the Boilermakers. This is Chris Perry, who was hurt early, but still playing, showing a lot of toughness. And let's go to our tough guy, Reese Davis.
Thank you, Mark. I try to play hurt whenever possible. Nebraska and Oklahoma State. Nebraska working a little trickeration right here. And David Horn, the freshman, they pull the red shirt off of him. Gets deep in OK State territory. He cashed it in with a touchdown later. Cowboys still by 3 in the 4th.
You know what some Nebraska fans are saying about that N on the Nebraska helmet? You know what they say the N stands for?
Don't go there, but I'll let you go there. Go ahead.
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
That kind of year in Lincoln.
You're going to get some letters. You're going to get some letters this week.
2nd down and 4 for Navarre. He wisely throws this one away. And don't forget, coming up after the game, it's the College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura with Reese Davis in the studio. Wrapping up the Big Ten. Nebraska, as I mentioned, struggling this year, and some of the undefeated teams in action, 10 of them in all, and well, at least one of them won't be undefeated today and at the end of the day, and that for sure will be either Notre Dame or Air Force, a game that you will see tonight on ESPN. 10 o'clock Eastern time. 3rd down and 4 now. Purdue blitzing. Askew on the carry and is chopped down at the 8-yard line. About 4.5 minutes to go, with the clock now the enemy of the Boilermakers.
I'm impressed with the character and the resiliency of Purdue's defense, Mark. Bouncing back again after their offensive football team had turned the football over. They're going to give Purdue's offense excellent field position. 3 and out for Michigan.
Clock running with 4:12 to go in the 4th quarter, Bob. Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining.
Do not want to be offsides right here, obviously, if you're Purdue.
And if the Boilermakers going to come after this one, or whether they elect to try and set up a punt return. They whistle it dead. You think about how Purdue's fortunes could be different. You have to look at the special teams.
Dead ball. Delay game on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still 4th down.
Mark, we go back. 2 missed field goals in this game that are obvious. But aside from the missed field goals, I think about the punt of 26 yards that they shanked out of bounds. Michigan scored on that drive. I also think of the holding on the kickoff return that Purdue had that backed him up to about the 5-yard line.
Right.
A lot of hidden statistics in there as well as the obvious missed field goal.
I'm waiting for a special teams report on Football 101 next week from you.
A better opportunity right here for Purdue to come after the punter because it's 4th and about 7. Not as much risk of being offsides or crowding that football too much.
A high spiral at 38, and brought down immediately is Anthony Chambers. Let's go downstairs to Holly Rowe.
Mark Jones, I've got your special teams 101 right here. This is Travis Dorsch, the consensus All-American kicker and punter last year for Purdue, now with the Cincinnati Bengals. And Travis, you see these kickers for both teams struggling today, the punters. What are your thoughts for these guys?
Well, it's a little windy out there, and you got some young guys on both sides of the ball. So, you know, they're just feeling their way through it, especially these guys here at Purdue. You know, I know them personally, and they're just trying to feel their way through, gain a little experience. And this is the type of game that could come down to a kick, so hopefully they'll be ready.
2 years ago, it came down to a kick. You missed the first chance, but then you had a chance to win it. You did beat Michigan with a kick. Tell us a little bit what Baron Lakovich must be thinking right now. He's had such a terrible day.
Well, definitely. One of my best memories is that kick against Michigan. And what B needs to do is just forget everything that's happened. That's one of the most important things as a kicker, is to let everything go and focus on what's in front of you at that moment. And if he can do that, he'll be fine.
Thanks very much, and good luck with the Bengals.
Thank you.
All right, Holly. Boy, they do miss him a little bit. Flag down on the play. Interesting that Lachovic, the place kicker for the Boilermakers, and Dorsch were roommates, Bob, during the course of the summer.
Prior to snap, ball start offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Dorsch tried to impart a little bit of wisdom on the new kicker, Lachovic.
You know, going back to Travis Dorsch, how important key players are. Drew Brees, Travis Dorsch. Purdue 4-9 in the last 13 games. All the success Joe Tiller had early, 4-9 in the last 13. Travis Dorsch, a big part of that, or the lack of a kicker, a big part of that right now.
Pass complete to Williams at the 40-yard line. He was working on Jeremy LeSueur. About a yard short of the first down.
Purdue really likes this freshman receiver, number 2, Ray Williams. He's one of the first big-time, true athletic receivers they felt they've recruited directly out of high school.
Orton down the middle, picked off by number 37, Zach Kaufman. And that might just do it for the Wolverines. And a late flag out at the 35-yard line. A hit came way after the whistle. The official didn't have a flag, so he threw his hat in the vicinity. Interesting that earlier Zach Kaufman had one go through his hands. That would have been an interception. This time, able to squeeze it.
On both teams, those fouls offset by rule. Interception stands. First down.
I'll tell you what happened there, folks. Grant Bowman hit Kyle Orton, and one of Orton's linemen took exception to that, protecting his quarterback, having his back. But it has been a day punctuated by frustration for both Purdue quarterbacks, and this might be the final nail. We'll be right back.
Best Buy. For the latest technology, turn on the fun at Best Buy.
It's been a very hazardous crossing here today at Ross-Ade Stadium for Purdue, who trails by 9 points with a little over 3 minutes to go. Let's take one more look at what happened off of that interception.
Anytime you play too deep coverage, you have to have your linebacker run with the seam route of the receiver. And here's Zach Kaufman, does an excellent job of running down the seam with Taylor Stubblefield, and then comes up with the interception on the underthrown ball. Mark, after the play, we're going to see right here Grant Bowman coming in and totally cheap-shotting Kyle Orton. Kelly Butler tries to stick up for him. Grant Bowman could have been, maybe should have been, thrown out of the football game for that shot on Kyle Orton.
Perry falls and loses a couple of yards. Let's go to Reese.
All right, Mark, and all of a sudden the children of the corn in big, big trouble. Josh Fields dropping in a touchdown pass, and it's a 10-point lead with just over 4 minutes to play in Stillwater.
Hey, Bob, I want to ask you about what Butler did. If you're the coach of that guy, okay, and he's got his quarterback's back, retaliating, do you say, hey, don't do that, but you really live with it?
Mark, since you were a little kid playing out on the playground,
right,
you were told don't retaliate.
Okay.
Because the second guy always gets caught.
That's your quarterback.
But you know what, right there? I kind of give Kelly Butler credit, to be honest.
Okay.
You know, at some point, that was a cheap shot by Grant Bowman. Lloyd Carr would admit that. Grant Bowman would admit that after he looks at it. But the bottom line, if I'm Kelly Butler, or if I'm coaching Kelly Butler, I'm kind of proud of him right there for stepping up.
Got to have your guy a little bit. Purdue calling a timeout.
That says it all right there. Joe Tiller in his first 5 seasons plus 31. This season -8 in turnover margin. They've struggled particularly on the road, particularly in close games because of kicking game and turnovers.
And 2 turnovers today.
Those 2 interceptions by Kyle Orton put the nail in the coffin, Mark.
2nd and 18. Harry stopped up at the 6-yard line. And in the big picture, Purdue, who has gone to 5 consecutive bowls, that streak now in danger should they fall to 3-5 on the season.
Mark, the thing they have going, though, their defense continues to hang in here and play. And once again, we may have put the nail in. The nail's penetrated, but we haven't completely hammered it in yet because it's still a 9-point game with 2.5 minutes left.
3rd down and 19 for Michigan. John Navarre came in red hot, and he's had a career day today, 271 yards. A career high passing. And the meter's still running for John Navarre. Threw this one away. Intended for Edwards. 7:45 Eastern, South Carolina. Lou Holtz's crew taking on number 12, LSU. The guys call themselves the Bayou Bengals. That's at 7:45 Eastern time. Matt Mock injured. Going to see interesting to see how they react without their starting quarterback. That's tonight at 7:45 Eastern on ESPN2. 4th down. Wolverines going to punt. Purdue comes after it. And nobody back for the punt. They'll stop at about the 44-yard line. And another compelling, tight game for the Boilermakers. They've had some close ones this year against Notre Dame. Duff intercepts Orton's pass here, returns it 33 yards. Notre Dame winning that one. Then against Wake Forest, Lajovic missed 3 potential game-time field goals. Wake Forest won by 3. Then against Iowa, final minute. We saw this one. We did this one. Kirsch picked off. They lose by 3. Then against Illinois last week, after rallying back from 24 points down, they lose to Illinois by a touchdown. And guess who's back? Brandon Kirsch. 1st and 10 with 2:05 to go. He started the game, sat down, and now is back, and is sacked at the 44. The 4th sack of the day for the Big Ten sack leaders on defense, the Michigan front.
Mark, we have to give Michigan's defense credit. As we mentioned, 507 yards for Purdue at Iowa, 566 last week at Illinois, 310 yards right now in this football game for Purdue.
Pierce going to pass and takes off instead. And he got drilled from behind by Lazarus with 1:33 to go, but he gets the 1st down at the 44-yard line. Check that. It's going to be 3rd and 10. Kirsch complete to Stubblefield. He'll stop the clock, move the chains. 1st down and 10. Michigan with a 3-man rush. Pierce had it tipped. It was through the arms of his intended receiver, Chris James. Cato June tipped it.
Cato June moving up to the dime backer, the linebacker right here. goes up and tips this ball. Had a chance to maybe intercept that football. But Mark, talking about Purdue and Joe Tiller right now, you can see how difficult it is when you have two quarterbacks sometimes. To alternate, one's hot, one's not. That puts a lot of stress on the coach as well, and it's difficult to know who to go with. So sometimes having two, that old saying, maybe you don't have one when you have two.
Pierce complete. And now they're going to say it's dropped. Standiford appeared to have it. And then it was jolted loose.
Mark, we go back here and we see Standiford. It's in slow motion. It looks like he maybe did have possession and that it was stripped out of there by number 30, Marcus Curry. So in slow motion, it appeared that he did have possession.
Don't forget, coming up, it's the College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura.
All those things going through Joe Tiller's mind right now. Not only the end of this football game, but what do I do this week to get this football team back?
Pierce on 3rd and 10 completes the pass. Stubblefield at the 27-yard line. They're in the hurry-up quick offense. And Purdue burns another timeout. Purdue at 1-2 in conference play right now. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule. They go to Evanston and then at home against Ohio State, then up to East Lansing and finish at home against Indiana. Meanwhile, Michigan with a huge one next week. Bob Davie, we're going to get a chance to do that game next week against Iowa. For the Iowa Hawkeyes, I don't think it's a stretch to say that this could be the game that really determines whether they go to the Rose Bowl or not. And for the Iowa Hawkeyes, it appears as if they are not looking forward to taking their opponent this week, Indiana, very seriously.
Well, first of all, Iowa's a veteran football team. And those veteran offensive linemen, they're not going to let anybody look too far ahead. Those guys have a lot invested in that program. Iowa, a very talented football team. Michigan, a talented football team. Michigan, because of John Navarre. 0 interceptions now over the last 4 weeks. They haven't been tremendously impressive, but they've played well enough to win and playing in Michigan Stadium. I don't think it'll be that symphony crowd at Michigan Stadium that Ron McBride from Utah talked about.
I want to see if Michigan is going to be able to stop Fred Russell in that very potent, prolific running attack that the Hawkeyes have sported over the last couple of weeks. And one of the other questions that begs, I think, on the flip side is how will Iowa's pass defense hold up against the likes of Braylon Edwards and now Ronald Bellamy?
Great points. One other great point, Iowa's kicking game. Dynamic.
That will be next Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time on ESPN. Pierce got his man Stubblefield for a first down at the 11.
Mark, I've got to be honest. I get nervous as an old coach. Even though there's 42 seconds left in this game, Michigan up by 9, us talking about next week. And I know Lloyd Carr right now in no way is thinking about next week. So there's still a 9-point separation in this game and still some time left.
Pierce almost picked off, incomplete. Let's go back to the previous play.
Kirsch again, we've said it over and over, buys time with his athleticism and his legs, and you see Taylor Stubblefield once again a big first down conversion. But Mark, it's impossible to play pass coverage that long when the quarterback's mobile and can buy time.
So nothing really resolved at the quarterbacking position this week as far as Purdue goes.
Michigan elects to play zone coverage and defend here against the empty.
Underneath Stubblefield, running for the pylon. And he got there. No. You're going to say he's out of bounds just before he hit the end zone. There appeared to be a late signal from the far side, but there was.
Michigan in zone coverage. Tyler Stubblefield lays out. Wow. It looked to me like that ball crossed the plane, Mark. We didn't have a great angle. but it looked to me like that football went across the plane.
It's like Joe Tiller said earlier to us. This year, the calls by the officials have been game-deciding calls. First and goal, nonetheless. Boyd in a tailback.
What that call did was actually, obviously, use time. But the clock was running there. The referee will go back and reset time. Look for Purdue to come on the naked bootleg right here or a run pass fake.
They've still got the clock at 11 seconds.
Mark, the referee, the officials will get this right. But with all the controversy right now surrounding Big Ten officials, they don't need any mechanical mistakes here late in this football game. They got enough on their plate.
A lot of people, Bob Dave, have gotten their feelings hurt in the last few weeks. Coaches, officials.
Mark, that's what it is, though. If you're sensitive, don't come near this arena now because you're going to get your feelings hurt.
Joe Tiller saying earlier this week in his weekly press conference that he is indeed in favor of instant replay, but the bigger conferences like the Big Ten can afford it. But what about the mid-majors? It's a little more difficult.
I like instant replay because just as you said, so many of these calls impact games. Here's the call again in slow motion. Wow. Once again, you have to be standing right here to make that call. And he saw what he saw, and he made the call. So you can't argue with that.
Last week, they thought that Standiford got into the end zone against Indiana at the end of regulation.
My question is not so much the call's been made, how much time was left on the clock when he went out of bounds? Wow. The time left on the clock is my question. There were more than 11 seconds on that clock when he went out of bounds.
First and goal. Boyd. No doubt that time. Touchdown, Boilermakers.
Mark, going back to that, I don't understand why the clock continued to run right there. And that's the question I would have if I'm Joe Tiller.
Well, the official time is always kept down on the field. We can only hope that the scoreboard reflects accurately what the official time remaining is.
Well, in that case, though, they would reset the game clock.
Right. That's a 6th touchdown of the season for Gerard Boyd.
Mark, it's late, but let's go back again. 2 missed field goals by Purdue. Kicking game mistakes by Purdue, and 2 critical turnovers in the 4th quarter by Kyle Orton. So you can complain a lot about referees' calls. You're always going to have one side happy, one side unhappy. But Purdue was self-inflicted mistakes to be in this situation.
Lachovic this week received some special motivation from Jan Stenerud, former kicker with the Kansas City Chiefs, somebody who has come to know him and befriend him. And they were scheduled to go out to dinner last night, spend a little time together. That coupled with spending a little time with Travis Dorsch, you would think that the young man would be bubbling with confidence coming into this game. But Bob, it's like potential, you know, and like popcorn. Some pop and some don't.
Well,
it's like, you know, it doesn't happen sometimes.
And Mark, I can appreciate all that, but you and I both know he can do all the talking and all the listening he wants. At some point, he has to kick the ball through the upright.
Which he does this time. Unfortunately for the Boilermakers, there's no 3-point extra point in football. And they trail by 2. Let's go back to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, Nebraska and Oklahoma State. Jamal Lord led a gutsy drive down 10 to the Pokes, and Lord goes into the end zone for the touchdown. 24-21, but the Pokes have the ball. Nebraska's out of timeouts, and Cowboys trying to run it out and win the game.
Wow. Stillwater, not an easy place to play either. But Nebraska right now, obviously, talent level not the same as it was several years ago.
Well, you can expect the onside kick coming up for Purdue. Mentioned those 2 missed field goals. They came from 21 and 40 yards out. Make that 41 and 40 yards out. This is Lachovic. Michigan with its hands team on the field. And the Wolverines recovering. It almost appeared as if a Purdue player touched it before it went 10 yards.
Should have been a penalty on that play right there because Purdue did touch that football before it went 10 yards.
Cato June, part of the hands team, the good hands team for Lloyd Carr's crew. 5 seconds to go, and they hold the lead by 2.
Right now, Mark, two teams going in opposite directions. Michigan with an awful lot to play for next week, a potential Rose Bowl bid next week at home. Purdue has to regroup before they play Minnesota, or excuse me, Northwestern.
Joe Tiller's streak of 5 consecutive bowl games here at Purdue in jeopardy as they will fall now to 3-5. Michigan improving to 6-1 in a huge showdown, folks, next week on ESPN at 12 noon against Iowa at home. Final score 23-21 for Michigan. Coming up next, it's the Disney Golf Classic with Mike Tirico calling that one. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Bob Davie and Holly Rowe and the rest of our talented ESPN crew, I'm Mark Jones. Have a good one.